Hello and welcome to a special BROKAKAKA. I'm Jim.
I'm Sam.
And I've got two little guests I want to introduce today. I'm going to do the thing where I make them introduce themselves, but without telling them in which order. So they're going to have to pick which one to go first, and it's going to be awkward.
Rock, paper, scissors.
How do we do that audibly?
I was still waiting for something.
We say 3, 2, 1, and then you guys say what you do.
Hi guys, my name's Aeonstar. I haven't uploaded a video in like 10 months, but
Hey!
Damn.
Don't talk about me, you son of a bitch.
God, this is
hello.
going great already.
My name's Purmello. You might recognize me from not making JoJo videos anymore.
Hell yeah.
But I'm coming back for my boys, and because 108 was such a clusterfuck that it just threw me right back in. All right, what about you, bud?
I am Aeonstar. I don't know what I do anymore, to be honest.
You have a Twitter account you run.
Yeah, I complain about Jojolion on Twitter, I guess. But
So,
yeah, I make YouTube videos mostly about Jojolion, hopefully in the future about other stuff. So,
Yeah, so we're dragging you back out of, both of you out of JoJo retirement for hiatus.
Yeah, apparently.
So this is kind of like a sequel almost, because we famously did a podcast, I think it was a little over a year ago, it might have been about a year ago, where we predicted the end of Jojolion.
Correctly.
And
Correctly.
funnily enough, I was listening back to a bit of it, and Holly, there is a part where you say they're going to bring, we didn't call her Kay at the time.
Yeah, Kyo. I call her
Kyo.
Kyo, yeah.
You literally said, Araki's going to bring Kyo back, and then immediately get rid of her.
Yep.
And then Aeon agreed. You agreed with her.
Wait, did I?
So it's true.
Seriously?
Yeah, you literally said. Yeah, you literally said that's actually true. And I was
Little
fucking
did we know
laughing.
he did that with more than one character.
He did that with every character.
We just need
Yeah.
Carrera now. And we'll have the
God.
whole circuit.
This is why any Part 8 fan should not want their favorite character to come back. Or,
True.
Yeah,
or
less
any
They
than
were
side
begging
character.
for characters to come back, and then it happened, and now no one wants any of their characters coming back.
Someone's
What
gonna
is
come back from the
Araki's
dead.
problem with that? Like, seriously.
And they're gone.
Why is it so
Maybe
consistent?
he sees it. Maybe he sees it as like housekeeping, where he's like, "Oh shit, I had all these characters set up.
Yeah.
Better just like quickly
Hey,
swipe them."
hey,
one of
everybody,
the
Abdul's
happiest
back.
things.
3
Listen to me.
times in this arc alone.
I mean, he brought Abdul back, made Abdul do nothing, and then kill him all very
When
quickly.
it happened with Sasame, we really should have seen the signs. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
true.
It's been 2 chapters every single time.
And Ojiro came back, and then he died quickly afterwards, too.
yeah.
Yeah, and then
Good
Kay
God.
2 chapters, then Kado 2 chapters. Like, what the hell, man?
No family members safe.
But so yeah,
People were
just
making
'cause I
jokes
didn't-
about that, and it happened.
Toru took all their lifespan and all their screen time.
Yeah.
His true stand
Um,
power, which is taking screen time.
But so yeah, just because I didn't properly say it, this is gonna kind of just be like a Jojolion. We're just kind of processing where we are with Jojolion, like where we think it's gonna kind of
Yeah.
go. Reactions to chapter 108. So at the time of recording, 108 is the most recent chapter. It was kind of a bombshell because there was all this news that Jojolion was going to be ending soon, and people were like, "No, that's not true." And then we get this chapter, and so for me, the big thing in this chapter is that there's like a whole monologue that feels like a bookends for the story.
Yeah, that's the most
And-
definitive thing for me.
yeah.
Because, like, when you have a character introducing the story and saying, this is a story about breaking a curse, and now that the curse is seemingly broken and we got the end monologue, it's like, how much more of the story is there really going to be?
Yeah. You know what? I want to say processing is a good word for it, because this really does feel like group therapy right now. Grief counseling. Yeah. God, I have so many thoughts on that specifically. Well, we should probably talk about the chapter itself, and then we can kind of loop around and do like retrospective analysis of Jojolion.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea, because I'm sure everyone has heard. Everyone's probably heard plenty of takes about 108 as a whole, but let's
Yeah.
just kind of
I've bitched about it for the past 2
Yeah.
weeks.
So like oh my god, my throat. One thought that I had rereading 108 was it felt I don't want to I'm going to have to say a lot of really unkind things, but it felt very up its own ass. It felt like it thought it was about more than it was. I don't know who pointed this out. It was either one of you, Jim and Sam, during the 108 podcast, where you were like, it was like, oh, in the hearts of these, in this family was not despair, but hope. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What does any of this mean?
None of his family members have been relevant.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I really, like, to me was like, that's when I was having like the heart palpitations when I was reading it, where I was like, oh my god, Jojolion's about to end in like 4 pages.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it felt really strange to like be saying that all of these characters, like character like Daya, saying that she is like hope. Like, what hope? What am I supposed to like imagine hope is for Daya? Like,
she had one arc where she was like a sexual predator.
Yeah. You know what it felt like? It felt like when there's a character in a movie who gets like shot and he's like, it's just in the gut, like it's not a fatal wound. And it's like, he's like, man, I never told you. I always wanted to tell you something. And the main character's like, don't do this, man. You're going to make it out of here. Like, that's what it felt like. It was like, no, you don't end. We have so much else to do. It's like,
I know.
Oh my god.
It
was so fucked.
Just the whole when Josuke showed up, like that was really just like, okay, why is this happening so quick? This is like this does not make sense of why he's here already.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the pacing with like how fast people travel across Morio is just so fucked up, man.
If there was
just
like
makes
one
no
panel
sense.
if there was one panel of Gappy like car surfing on the roof of the ambulance, like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I remember Aeon. Didn't you have a tweet that was like comparing timescales across the thing? It's like,
Yeah, it took
was like-
Yasuho and
this was like-
Toru 44 hours to get to the Higashikata estate.
Also, I'm
And
like,
the last
Gappy's a
11
wanted
chapters
man.
took place in the past 2 hours. Like, what the hell?
They stopped for a lot of burgers, okay?
A lot of
Also,
burgers.
like Gappy is a fugitive right now, so
Yeah, I think they're just dropping that. Like, I don't think that's gonna go anywhere.
Honestly, what can they do when you have a character who can bust out of prison using their invisible bullshit? Like,
Yeah.
and that damn Lamborghini is still
cares?
in the tree.
I would love the last shot of Jojolion to just be like a shot of the Lamborghini still in the tree as the camera pans backwards.
The tow truck driver scratching his head,
Oh,
trying to
you
figure
know
out what
that's
to
gonna
do.
be a shot from the outro, the ending
Oh.
credits.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
But
Yeah, so just going back to the chapter, like, so we have all these moments that I think they range from like really good to like confusing. Like we said, the one thing about like the narration, Yasuo giving a narration about like the Higashikata family felt strange to me, but like I love the stuff with Kato is pretty good.
I have
does-
a couple of complaints about that, to be honest.
yeah, I have a couple of thoughts
Yeah, let's
about that.
get into the Kato because it does feel baffling that she just kind of does this.
Okay, so I tweeted about this at one point, but one of my all of my issues with Kato as a character are summed up by this one page in chapter 108 where it's like right after she gets impaled with the saw blade, and it's the double page spread of her like with tears in her eyes, and then behind her is the family photo that everyone
Yes.
has talked about, which has Kay edited out for some reason.
Yeah.
I really don't like this because one, Kato Higashikata was never present when that was taken. She was still in
Has she
prison.
even seen that photo?
Two, she probably
That's a
has
good
never
question.
seen that photo before. Three,
Also-
if she has, it was never acknowledged.
Why would
And
she care
four,
about Josuke?
it includes Josuke Higashikata,
Yeah.
which she does not like Josuke Higashikata. She considers him a freeloader and not a part of her family. That's
It
never been
feels-
addressed again.
Not
It
many people like
feels-
Josuke.
It feels to me like he's trying to make that photo like the group shot from part 3, but it's not
Oh.
landing.
Yeah, it's not. You know
It
what
shows
would
up
have landed
800
better
times.
if he used the cover page of, I think it was Milagro Man Part 1, where it's the entire family on a picnic. That would have
Yeah.
worked fine.
Like I'm picturing like Jobin in the backyard roller skating, right? Like that's like a fond memory she might have. But
Yeah.
like, or I guess not, because she got like arrested around that time. Whatever. Point is, like, hey, that's the last time I saw my son, and now I'm seeing him, and he's fucking dying in a hallway. Like, yeah, I don't know. It feels kind of weird. It's not like a big bad point, but it is a little weird.
But like, it encapsulates all my issues with Jojolion so far, in that all these characters that we should be caring about right now at this point, we just don't, because it doesn't feel like they've been properly explored.
Yeah.
Somehow Joshu's the most like explored like child character, not including Jobin, but like out of all the kids, like Joshu's the most we got, and we're not supposed to like Joshu.
Yeah. I wouldn't
Especially
say
after
we're
what
not
he
supposed
did.
to like Joshu. I would say that we're supposed to think Joshu is a fucker.
Yeah.
We're supposed to like him, but in like, oh, are you really doing this shit again kind of way.
Yeah.
But
Something.
Just to compare, I hate to be the guy that compares it to Steel Ball Run,
Yeah.
because it feels unfair. But comparing the finale of this, saying like this is around the part when like the train chase,
Yeah.
like the amount, like you feel for like every character, like you care about Dio, you care about Holly, or wait, no,
Hot
sorry,
Pants.
Hot Pants, and then of course you care about
Yeah.
like the main two boys too. With this, yeah, you're right. Like I don't, Joshu's the only one that really elicits an emotion from me. Jobin dying is very sad.
But he
Yeah.
died
Love
forever
Yeah,
ago.
but Jobin dying also, like, because we spent so much time thinking, oh, right, is he really actually dead? Because
All that
like, the
copium.
way his death was portrayed just looked like it was
I
made
s-
out to be a gag.
I still
Yeah.
don't even know. Like, I was about to say, like, I know that, like, oh god, I don't want to be too mean to Araki, but, like, portraying information via visuals in panels has never been his strong suit. There are entire fights, even dating back to, like, part 5, where you're like, what the fuck is going on, even the entire time? But, like,
Yeah.
part 8 especially has been really weird with, like, when a character dies, it's really unclear if they're actually dead. Like, I can't think of any times in Steel Ball Run. Like, you can think of, like, Mountain Tim
Hot Pants.
gets shot in the fucking face. Hot Pants is a little vague. But, like,
Well,
Hot
Dio
Pants
gets
is
cut-
very vague, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Diego
one of the
gets
worst.
cut in
most
half.
people
Hot
don't even
Pants-
know she's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hot Pants is the only vague one that I can think of from Steel Ball Run. But every
And-
other character is completely unambiguous.
I said in our past episodes, I always tell Jim, like, I don't believe they're dead until I see a ghost
Yeah.
in the sky.
Like, Gyro, you see his
Yeah.
fucking ghost fly into the clouds. Like,
Because how long does Mamazuka literally survive poor Tom by, like he
Yeah.
got vaporized, and he survived that, but he didn't survive Wonder Review, where he was able to
Yeah.
monologue also for, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It
as
says
well.
so much that people are still asking whether or not Kay and Rai are actually dead.
Also, how did he
Yeah.
know so much about, like, the spin?
Oh, alright, don't even get me started on this already. Let's take
Yeah.
one thing at a time.
Like, there's still so many things there.
yeah. Like, it's so weird.
Uh,
Well, because, like, Josuke got, like, shot through the fucking head with, like, a raindrop during one
also got,
review,
like-
and he's like, fine.
He also had, like, a bunch of cookies on him that he was able to walk off and run
Yeah.
all the way from the hospital to the home with after he had to deal with that.
God, yeah.
Well, he jumped into water, so they all
Oh,
fell.
and
Yeah,
he cured him right up.
About that scene, I don't really have any issues with the fact that he jumped into the water and got them off. What I do have issues with was how he was able to get up after he collapsed from them taking over his body.
got
Like,
to the
that
estate.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
And
you know
the-
that scene in The Incredibles when Mr. Incredible gets all that, like, the
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
balls
exactly
on it?
what it
Imagine if
reminded
he,
me
like,
of.
the shit closes and then he just gets up and walks away.
Yeah,
Oh my
Oh,
god.
God.
that's a great comparison.
Another thing I had an issue with that chapter was just so Kato had like she got attacked by Wonder Review by destroying the branch and not attacking Wonder Review itself, but that was but Gappy didn't get hit by Wonder Review and he literally shot Wonder Review with a go beyond.
There's
I have a big problem with the way that Wonder Review behaves in general.
Yeah.
Like,
It
Yeah.
just works.
It is a very it just works stand, because there are certain times where like Mitsuba has been attacked on multiple occasions in ways that are not, she's not even moving in some cases. And then like when Kato uses her stand on Toru, that isn't an attack. But when she like grabs the fruit, that is what's considered an attack.
Yeah.
Her destroying the branch was an attack, but not...
Destroying the branch, thank
Yeah.
you. That was it, yeah.
There's a lot of like situations in JoJo where abilities are kept very vague in order to make them more versatile, and I think that's a good thing. This is not a case where it should have been like intentionally kept vague. The fact that we have Rai at one point saying, "Is Calamity even real? Are you like maybe that something else is going on here?" And
Karma.
he's wrong, and it's just like there needed to be very specific rules for how this works that are kept to and not constantly broken, because when it feels like characters like Josuke setting up a trap for Wonder of You and he's not impacted by Calamity, that doesn't make any sense based on what we've seen of Calamity activating in other certain scenarios.
By the way,
Yeah.
that plan, not great.
Yeah, not at all great in hindsight.
I'll get into this later, in the later section when we're more like retrospect. But I went back and I reread everything from 89 to now. So that was like Dangerous Pursuit 1 all the way up until right now. And
89 years old.
Oh, shut up.
oh my
guys.
god,
Don't
89.
stop.
Anyway,
Stop.
Gotta fucking die.
it really struck me just how shitty his plan was when I reread all of that, like all of that in time. It was like, what the fuck was he even gonna do?
Remember how hype
Calling
it
you
was?
the
Like,
plan is generous. He had no plan. He was just winging it.
how hype? He looks so cool doing that after that really good chapter. Like, okay, he's gonna beat him. He's gonna get Blue Hawaii.
No, he's
like,
just
I
a
think
dumbass.
No.
His plan, I think, wasn't actually even to take him out. I think it was just to make him desperate. And that was like him stomping on the Rokakaka juice, like doing all that shit, right? I think
Right,
that's
that part
what
of
that
it-
was.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
hurting Wonder of You monetarily, that was a good idea. He just improvised that, though. That was not part of his original plan.
I don't
plan,
know.
His plan was the same plan as always. Cover the room with bubbles and pray he steps on one of them.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It really is. Like I said, conveying information has never really been Araki's strong suit, and that sounds mean, but it's like that's just how it is.
I kind of agree, and like for another part too, I think it's really interesting that obviously Jojolion is the part that so many people are following in the West now, and they're like taking a fine-tooth comb for all the details. But like Araki's never been like a meticulous plotter when it comes to his long stories. It's definitely more about like certain, I feel like for him it's like scenes and characters are like what he really cares about, but having like all these little plot details don't always really factor into
Yeah.
like long game stuff.
If you
Yeah.
read his book about like how to write manga and stuff, he talks about that a lot, where it's like as long as you have really strong moments and really strong characters, you can really skimp on a lot of details. And I don't know how much I agree with that, but it seems like it's the foundation of how he writes, really.
And I think the important thing about JoJo as a whole is that's always worked because of the way it was structured and the type of story he was trying to tell. But because Jojolion is more mystery oriented and has like a protagonist who's just like trying to uncover things and details about himself, the skimping on the details really like hurts Jojolion more than it does other JoJo parts.
Yeah. Like, so early on, there at least when I was first starting to read the story, there was a lot of mystery as to like, why is Josuke a fusion? Like, what are the mechanics at work here? And so we learn it's like two things. Like much later on, we learn it's two different things. One of them being that the land is blessed in a way. At the rate the story's going, I really don't know if we're gonna get a resolution to that, or like
I think we will.
even.
I think we will still.
Yeah, I think we will.
I would like to. I
If
would
there's
certainly like to see that.
there's
Yeah,
three
like-
things that I think we'll absolutely get an answer to, and that is why the ground of Morio is blessed, what is going on in the flash forward, and who the flashback man is. I think all those three things are absolutely going to be answered. Everything
up on the
else is a
flashback
bit
man.
more up in the air.
Yeah.
gave up
I would
on the
bet
flashback
money that
man.
we'll never see any resolution
Or
of
the baby.
Flashback Man.
Or the baby.
Or Bling Baby.
I don't know. I don't
The
know.
baby is more like...
The
I
baby.
think that
The
the
baby.
baby could just
Sorry.
be left the way it is and be just something weird about Morio.
Mhm.
I-
I've heard that I've heard
It's
a
just
few
poor
people
Tom.
say that it's like a representation of like the what was it? That it
The
was
curse?
like
The
the fortune that befell Morio or whatever. Like
Huh.
yeah,
Oh,
that it
makes
wasn't actually like a
sense.
plot thread, that it was just like, yeah, this is how blessed Mario is. It's fucking based or whatever. Like this is just how lucky the people here are, and how much good fortune flows into Mario or whatever. 'Cause
Right,
that's
it
kind
could
of
be-
what it's
happens-
talking
yeah.
about in the space surrounding it.
It could
I
be...
think it happens the day that Johnny dies,
Yes,
right?
it
Isn't that
does.
when the Bling Baby comes?
Yeah.
It could
I
be
think
like the
something like
flashback of Josuke had, where he's saved by the guy in the snow. That it's
Uh-huh.
more of a representation of Morio as a whole, rather than like a specific character or
plot
something, plot line.
Yeah.
But the flashback
That's a really good
man,
point.
like, there's nothing else in JoJo that is like the flashback man, where it's just unanswered and unexplained. Nothing
Yeah.
at
Find out
all.
about Leon Kennedy.
I still
It-
maintain that like it could be a version of a character that we have seen already. And it's just...
I still think that the flashback man is a descendant of Johnny Joestar.
Yeah, that it was like in
Either
some
his
way
son
that
or
it
grandson.
is Johnny in some way.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
someone in
A
Johnny's line,
representation of
mostly because of the hair tone and the clothing he's wearing is the same as Johnny's son.
Yeah.
And
When we
also the
had
guy
that,
who tells the story about Johnny dying too, weirdly for some reason. So, something's up with that. I think that's very intentional, though.
Yeah.
It seems like a weird
Jojolion
detail.
would go on much longer.
So
All right, are we gonna talk about how long we think Jojolion is gonna last at this
I
point?
have a point on that. I was going to
Okay,
talk
go
about.
for it.
So, in my rereading from 89 to 108, I had an epiphany, okay?
Okay.
This is my Kyo's going to come back. This is my moment.
Yeah.
This arc, as one of you pointed out earlier, was kind of like the confrontation with Funny Valentine from Steel Ball Run.
Right.
So, using that logic, we have not yet had our high voltage of this
Right.
part.
I think that's mostly what people are expecting if it goes on for another arc.
Yeah. It's going to be a big reveal of something, right?
Well,
And
then-
I hate this term so much, but
Yeah.
Tsurugi being the Diego Brando, the alternate universe Diego Brando of Jojolion.
Yeah, basically. I didn't get what people were talking about when they said that until I had that epiphany. I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't know if it's gonna be Tsurugi. I think he'll play a role in it, obviously, but it's. I
Right.
think it's going to be a big thing that just ties everything together in this big thing.
I really
don't
hope that it's not as simple as just oh, King Crimson is here now and it's on Tsurugi or something like that, because that would
lame.
just be that's
I would
so
cringe.
similar to High Voltage. It doesn't feel unique
And it
to
feels
Jojolion.
like it's been building up to it because everyone's stand has King in it and blah blah blah. It's it feels like it's building to that, and I really hope it's not.
and it's Rudy with the baby in the fountain kind of made it feel like that too, and the Ojiro on the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had a very similar sort
time
of
skipping.
activation-y thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny because just going off of the vibe that Araki has given Tsurugi, especially with that arc and then with the flash forward, Tsurugi definitely could become this like second villain, I guess you could say.
Guys.
Or is
I
other
wouldn't-
The thing
I don't know
is,
if
we're
I'd
not
even
gonna
hate it.
punch Tsurugi in the face. Like that's not happening.
Guys.
only
But it's
Tsurugi
gonna
can pull
be more
a
of a-
Diavolo, where he takes his shirt off and he's gonna be a grown man.
It's more gonna be like an emotional. If Tsurugi is like the final villain, it's gonna be an emotional response from him, and it's going to be like calming him down as the solution or something like that, or
Yeah.
telling him that like everything's gonna be all right. There's still hope. What?
Yeah.
Flashback Man is Tsurugi's Diavolo.
Oh shit!
No,
Why?
please no,
Oh, shit.
please no.
We get Nut King call Go Beyond, which causes everybody to switch bodies, and then that's how we solve that.
I mean, how cool would it be if Joshu just like took his head off and put it on like Kato's body?
Basically, like Law and One Piece can do.
Yeah, that hurts me. But no, I kind of do. I mean, to me, when I was first reading the chapter, I really got the vibe of, oh shit, we have like 2 pages, or we've got like 2 chapters left. But I would appreciate if Jojolion went on for like another year. I definitely think there's enough to wrap up. I really want to see more of these characters before they're gone.
Okay, so we know for certain. Well, not for certain. I'm not gonna say anything's for certain anymore because holy shit. But it's probably not gonna be this next 109 chapter because so the shortest I believe volume of Steel Ball Run was 160 pages long, and it was 3 chapters long, and that was the penultimate volume of Steel Ball Run. Now the last volume of Jojolion, the previous one, volume 26, was 4 chapters long, and now we have 2 currently released chapters that haven't been compiled into a volume. So for it, the final, if this next chapter of Jojolion is the final chapter, that chapter would need to be at least 60 pages long for it to be as long as the shortest chapter of Steel Ball Run, which I don't see happening. I think is very unlikely. So I think like logistically, we have to have at least 2 chapters left of Jojolion.
Yeah, but it sounds possible.
It's just like,
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
I know, it feels so weird. Like, we've been covering Jojolion it's coming up on, it would actually be really funny if it ends in like 2 months, because that would make it end like around our podcast's like 4th anniversary. But yeah, I mean, I would really like at least maybe like 2 or 3 more volumes, I think.
Yeah.
The minimum is 2 more chapters. I think we're going to get at least 1 more volume.
Yeah.
Like
I
past this
think
volume's
that-
completion.
Yeah, I think that like definitely I think if we compare like just his writing style, this will probably be like the high voltage of Jojolion. But just given how everything has scaled, I don't think it'll be the exact same scale of it'll be 2 chapters, right? But I think
Right.
it will be this sort of big event series of chapters. It's just not going to be
Right.
exactly 2 chapters. It'll probably knowing
it's
Jojolion,
the
it'll
high
probably make up its
voltage-
own volume. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the high voltage, the sleeping slaves, so on.
Yeah, exactly. I remember high voltage thing, that was 2 chapters.
What if it ends up being like, rather than continuing on from this point, it's more of a flashback to Josuke's time like before he meets Yasuho?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was like at least 1 more flashback.
I
like,
thought
from
there
this
was gonna
point.
be a like flashback with Lucy when they had the whole rock human history. Like she had like a different costume on. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be what she did when she like went to go get the parts. I'm sure that didn't go as smoothly as she wanted to.
I don't think we're getting any more with Lucy and Jojolion.
I
don't
would be
think
very
it's necessary.
surprised.
I got my
Ooh,
hopes.
but I'd love it.
I
It would
know.
give me the dopamine hit.
Mhm.
Seeing my favorite characters and pointing at the screen while I pog.
Yeah.
I know them.
I know what that is.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was we'll see what happens. We still have really, we need like the Holly resolution and like the flash forward resolution. Like we're still plenty of stuff we still like need to go that I know we're not gonna get in like 2 volumes worth. I'm sure.
I mean, I feel like we're probably gonna have the resolution to the flash forward by the end of next chapter, most likely, based on where we
Yeah.
are.
That's okay. So, just to kind of addressing the flash forward, because that's like been a point of contention for most theories and like most understandings of where we are. Because right now, the situation that we're in, at least at the end of the chapter, is that like everyone has kind of made it back to the estate, including like they've brought what's his face, Norisuke's body out. So in
And they
the
say
flash
he's
forward,
alive.
yeah, they say he's alive, which I believe them. But in the flash forward, we see like
Tsurugi
Tsurugi go
knows.
upstairs and take the body bag. But like,
Why?
I'm not sure if Araki's supposed to be implying, because there's one scene where it looks like Tsurugi is kind of like near the bag.
So
in this
Tsurugi
last
Yeah.
chapter.
shows like no emotion during that flash forward too. Like just that blank stone face. Like, Joba's not there. Mitsuba's not there. Like the house is fixed up. Like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait a
Joshi
minute.
has an arm.
I just realized something. Joshu was carried away in the ambulance, wasn't he?
I thought he was still on the ground.
No, he's like carried off on a stretcher.
Was he?
Is he?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Maybe
that.
How
one of
is
those-
he
those
in the
clown-
flash forward?
It's one of the clown
So-
structures where they lift him up and they don't actually pick him up. He just goes through it and he just walk away.
I was gonna bring this up. I would not be even remotely surprised if there is some, either if not one, many, multiple like major retcons with regards to the flash forward that make any speculation almost impossible. Like I would not be surprised if we get to the flash forward portion and suddenly Joshu has only one arm, they're not happy anymore, there's shit in the house. Like I would not be even remotely surprised if like we get to that point and it's completely different just because
That'd
he
be
totally
so-
forgot.
Well,
That'd be so damn
I
frustrating
think-
because like the
alright,
whole point
I
of a
agree.
flash forward is to like give you a glimpse of what's going to happen ahead, and for that to not
Yeah.
even like be accurate.
I think it's gonna
That's-
because Jim mentioned this in like the last episode where like there's a piece of the pot that wasn't with in the garage when that whole everything went down where like there's like a quarter of it missing. I think Jim said, and the harvest is gonna be to that third fruit that's like barely growing, and that's what the countdown's actually for.
So
Okay.
yeah, like theoretically, because when we saw the harvest countdown, it still could be like, because we have that kind of sneakiness of Kato like maybe hiding that quarter
Yeah.
of the pot. So like maybe, but this is where it still is frustrating because like if Araki is still referring to a countdown to harvest, then it's intentionally misleading us because this is like a separate countdown than the one we've been shown before.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Like-
not saying like it literally is completely different events, but I'm saying like there might be some subtle thing that he retcons that like makes a lot of speculation very difficult. You know what I mean? Where-
Yeah, I totally agree. And like to me, if you're right, if this is like, unless I mean the big speculation is that this is like some kind of Tsurugi illusion that is going to be what the flash forward is.
Yeah.
Save for that case, I would say this is almost like a breaking of trust of like from now on reading JoJo whatever Project Araki does going forward, there's like a big grain of salt that I'm going to bring into like every interpretation I have about like big long-term theories and future events.
Yeah,
Well,
remember
to
we
be
all thought
honest,
about-
we're all idiots for not considering that in the first place, considering the past parts, to be honest.
True.
Yeah. True.
We had that theory of Tsurugi controlling other people's stands, like during the whole thing, like Daya's and Joshu's, like during that flash forward.
Yeah.
Like, all the theories, man. We don't know. Not true.
Yeah.
Like the
I mean,
big
to some point, theorizing about anything is completely useless because the creator can just do whatever the fuck they want. But like
Right.
with Araki especially, it's very like you can't know really.
the
Part H should
issue
be a
is like
prologue to
Steel
Bow.
Ball Run felt so like it felt
Yeah.
like it was well thought out. It felt like it had
did.
everything because like it didn't feel like it was made up as it was going along. It felt like Araki had like a big overarching plan when he was going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if like certain details like Funny Valentine's appearance changed.
Well, but the easy explanation for that is just, other funny in other realities. That's the easy thing to, like,
Mhm.
use your
Right,
brain
he can
to
hand wave it.
fix.
Right. I mean more in the sense of like Araki had a big plan going forward
Yeah.
with Funny Valentine and what he was going to do with the character, with his ideas on patriotism and all that. And it felt like going into it, that, alright, this is as well thought out as it is because of the monthly schedule and because Araki has more time to plan things out now. And so carrying forward into Jojolion, it seemed like a reasonable expectation that Jojolion would feel just as planned out because it was also on that monthly schedule from the very beginning this time.
Mm-hmm.
But it just didn't end up being like that. It ended up feeling more like one of the earlier parts where it was just kind of improvised as it went along.
Yeah, and
There's
in fairness,
some
maybe
stuff.
in retrospect it will feel more planned out, but
Maybe.
yeah, at the moment it feels very like there have been a few moments, and like off the top of my head I can't think of them like at the moment, but there are definitely some moments in retrospect where it's like, okay, that came out of nowhere, right? Specifically regarding like mortal injuries to characters that they just kind of shrug off.
Right.
Like, that's been a thing, but there's
Poor
always some
Tom.
explanation. Like, oh, I went to the hospital, you know? In this, it's like, Raima Mizuku gets vaporized, and then he's like, nah, I was like a piece of string in the corner. It's cool.
I can wrap myself back up
Yeah.
as long as I'm not vaporized. I can heal myself.
Yeah. And then, like, here he gets shot once, and he's like, ah, I'm fucked. Bye. It's like,
I'm gonna
okay.
monologue for a few minutes so you understand that you have something, but like I won't elaborate at all about it. But
Yeah.
Use the spin.
also, wonder if you killed my father.
Okay, actually, I want to be a bit more fair about this. It doesn't feel like Jojolion was not planned out at all. It feels like the wrong portions of it were completely planned out.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
fact that Soft and Wet Go Beyond was foreshadowed in Chapter 1. That doesn't
Yeah.
feel as compelling as a lot of other stuff would if it felt pre-planned.
We had like we had like nothing really about the spin other than like Johnny's flashback and everything. Like he didn't get anything until the Wonder Review chapter.
The
Yeah.
It just feels
justification
weird to me.
The justification for Soft and Wet Go Beyond just feels so asinine, honestly, because alright, we have Rai realizes that the that Soft and Wet's bubbles are comprised of microscopic
Shrink.
lines that are infinitely small, and they're just rotating and vibrating around, and that's what makes it look
Yeah.
like bubbles. He realizes that back in the Urban Gorilla arc,
Yeah.
and that's our like indication going forward that Soft and Wet is a spin ability. What we end up getting is not an elaboration on Soft and Wet being a spin ability. Well, we do get that, but we also get the fact that Raima Mizuku, for some reason, realizes that Soft and Wet has a second ability that has completely different properties because it's a spin stand. And that
Also,
logic does not follow through.
Saltwood also had the aspect to take away like certain traits that he never
yeah,
used
I hate
after.
that got completely dropped, because it's so creative.
He just used bubbles to,
Yeah.
like, as a shield and bubbles to shoot people like Johnny's nails were. But like
It's really funny because I think I just happened to like listen back to like a really old episode Sam and I did, and it was during the Doctor Wu fight, and there's a part where this is something I totally forgot about. Doctor Wu has like a bunch of vials with like different diseases on them, and like Yashiho gets like hit by them or something, and Sam, you were like, I wonder if Josuke could like use Soft and Wet to remove the measles from her, and I was like, wow, I wonder if we'll see that.
I don't think that he would have been able to, specifically because like not being able to heal things is an important part of Jojolion because of the Rokakaka.
Yeah.
And also because Soft and
that's
Wet is
true.
mostly physical properties, like things that could actually be like physically taken away. Like friction is technically just like bumps in
I guess that
matter.
shield he did to use like I guess the truck or the car when he's saving Yashiho in like the parking lot. I guess that was like removing like the impact. But then he transferred that to a random pedestrian and like broke his neck.
Also, he did
I think
remove
that has
the
something to do
sound
with
from a wall
Wonder of
once.
You.
He did do that.
I guess so.
In the first in the soft and wet arc, he removes sound from the wall, so when he punches it, it doesn't make
Yeah.
a sound.
I spent
I wanted.
I spent like 4 months animating that. I will never
Oh, yeah.
forget. I will
Yeah.
never forget that he did that.
Although I think that could also be like done through some kind of physical property, like to
Sure,
muffle
yeah.
it. Maybe
So-
I don't know.
If Wonder Review, like, you know, when he walked into the room and hit a bubble, like, what would have happened?
It's the drill. It would have drilled to bore right
It
through.
would
him,
have
like we
automatically
saw
been a
with
go beyond
Namzuku.
bubble and not like.
It doesn't matter
And-
because Kefu would have never been stupid enough to do that. I don't know why he thought he
Yeah.
would.
The answer is whatever Araki feels like. That's the
Yeah.
thing, is that it's like what I fuck. I don't want to just be mean, okay? Because I like this comic. It's a good comic book,
It is.
but I will say it it feels.
Wonder Review's
super
gonna be
fucking
one of those
arbitrary.
arcs, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those controversial arcs that people either like or hate or, you know,
Yeah. Well,
don't really know what to think about.
a lot of the abilities feel arbitrary, where it's like, what counts as pursuit? Because I can imagine in my head if Akefu walked into one of those bubbles without Josuke even thinking about it, that would have probably counted as an attack for some fucking reason, right? Like
Yeah.
100%. He could
also-
write that, and it would be completely consistent with everything else.
Also, we've seen like him like hold back the Wonder Review ability, like when Pangea Land was talking to actual like Wonder Review, where he just like didn't get attacked when he came up to interview him.
Yeah, it seems like it has to also be intentional. Like, yeah, because, like, he was literally walking down, and people were, like, all coming up to him. Like, they would have all been fucking killed.
Yes.
But, like, so yeah, obviously he has to consciously trigger it as well.
I think it's just like an on and off state. Otherwise, like he wouldn't be able to survive in
Yeah.
society.
I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be like where Toru is vulnerable, but like you have to pursue the stand, but like that's also not the case because we learned that, you know, pursue Toru or Wonder Review both activated.
Mm-hmm.
And that Wonder Review can be in like more places, like can be in multiple places at once as well.
Yeah.
Also, those nurses, when Akafu is like running away from Josuke, who don't mean to harm him, pursue him, and they get like
Yeah.
blocked by something. So like the whole thing is so damn inconsistent. It has no rules. It's just whatever Rocky feels like in the moment,
Yeah.
Pretty
whichever
much that's
my
works for
biggest
the
problem.
scene.
It's not universal, but like any of those like very high, like, long rain stands like that, like what's it called, Silver Chariot Requiem, or just anything from the end of part 6, like it's just gonna
You
like,
can poke similar holes in like so many other stands, but it's not like the core thing. Like
yeah.
with Funny Valentine, I remember thinking like, because his whole thing is he needs to like sandwich himself between two items, and like one of the biggest reaches is when the train like runs over a strand of his hair, and that's able to activate his stand. So technically, couldn't he just like always do it if he has like a jacket on? Like, I mean, you
Yeah.
can poke holes like this
I mean-
all the time, but the fact that it is
Yeah,
so
but then he'd lose his
integral
jacket,
to
and it's
Wonder
so
Review's
cool.
power.
Jim, the only time clothes actually mattered in a stand fight was part 3.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also like you have like I think like part 6 is a good example of this being done well, where you have very vague stands, but they're also very specific, right?
Right.
Like, for example, you have something like Kiss, where it's very specific, but it's also very vague, where it's like it can do this one thing really well, and it has like a billion possible applications. But
I
there's
think-
never an opportunity in part 6 where you're like, oh, why didn't she just multiply her leg and then walk really fast?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's think about-
Because nothing that Kiss does feels like a reach.
Well, also
like,
no
I
one.
feel a better descriptor is specific but versatile. That's
Yeah.
That's the issue with a lot of Part 8 stands, is they don't feel specific, but
Yeah.
sometimes they feel versatile, or otherwise they don't feel specific and also don't feel versatile, like with Wonder
Yeah,
Review.
It's like they can do anything, but they can do nothing. Like, it feels like every single thing a stand does in part 8 is a reach. Like,
I was gonna say,
literally.
no one's gonna complain about part 6 when all people are gonna complain about is snails in part 6 or Bohemian Rhapsody. So
Yeah,
thinking about it,
that's a reach, I'll admit. Sure.
it's just
Just
like
going back to that though, like Soft and Wet is the ultimate example of this, because like
yes,
it's so weird for us to be given like the main JoJo's stand ability, and then that to not be a thing.
I
for the second half of the
compare
story.
it to Gold Experience of just like
It's very Gold Experience like.
you
Yeah.
can do whatever it wants to. Some things they just forget about it can do, but sure.
I would say Gold Experience is more consistent than Soft and
Even
Wet is.
early
Yeah.
Gold Experience where it did the slowdown punch.
I
You
wouldn't
could
say
say
that's
that, like, they
inconsistent.
did
It's
that
just
every
never
other
used
time and they
again.
just didn't show it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reflex part
Okay, but we don't talk about that.
The
when he
reflex
killed that
part,
man
what
with
do
the
you mean?
shovel.
Oh,
The
that
leaky
yeah,
eye
that's
Lucas
just too
thing.
busted. You can make like you can have so many options for that.
Yeah,
I
You
well,
don't
it's
think-
also
You can
like-
also just
probably
slide in
better
a
that
new
it wasn't
organ.
used.
Yeah.
You can just slide in a new organ and it'll just perfectly work.
Uh-huh. Well, it's also like the second that they know what your stand ability is, it just doesn't work because they're just never going to attack the animal. Like
Yeah.
that's also a big component of Gold Experience, to be fair.
But
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I think that you guys are totally spot on with the whole, like, yeah, there's a bit of an issue with stands. Because also, like, I remember how excited I was getting myself thinking about how Kay could return. Like, what are the fun ways that she could return or she could, like, activate her stand? Because we see in her arc early on that, like, she can't even, like, seemingly activate it herself. Like, she needs the trigger to happen. Like, I think there's a part where she even throws
a pen.
at Josuke, and like the pen opening is considered like the activation, and
That was so
So-
cool, and
Yeah,
it's
it
never
is
like
sick.
used anything similar again.
Well, we had one shot
I
of
know,
it
I
coming out
wanted
of
it.
something, and then she died. She gave the phone and then got a cane in her eye.
it did do a cool
Yeah.
flip though.
It did
It
do
did,
a
like, a
cool
flip.
flip.
It was so exciting when it like finally Born This Way finally arrived on the scene, and it felt like, all right, finally we're gonna have some means of like actually fighting back and doing something interesting in this, and then she's just dead.
It's gonna be really
Yeah.
funny where she finds out she lived through it somehow, but it's just gonna walk around with a
Ugh.
giant cane in her eye. They can't remove it or she'll die. But so she'll be like Metal Gear Solid 5, where you just have like the shrapnel just stuck in her head.
Or like that one Falco art where it's she's wearing an eye patch.
They could. I mean, it had to have a piece of the cane sticking out still. And every time that cane reminds me of the fucking bug or the rock insects. Oh,
But yeah, so all right, let's try and like move
Yeah.
the discussion. Maybe do we have anything else that we want to say like about specifically 108? Because
I
think the other one thing I wanted to bring up, in particular, maybe do we have anything else, and then I'll bring that up if we don't.
I appreciate Yasho just sitting there and staring for the entire chapter.
Literally doing nothing.
That's
Man, I
become
really
her
wanted to-
allocated job.
I wanted that 100-page nut with her with the nut King Call arm, but I can't get any of my far reaches.
I will
do you
say
got,
that's
Jim? Oh, sorry.
one thing.
Aeon, go.
Yeah, one thing that I both do and don't like for two separate reasons. I really like the fact that Wonder Review's coat like remained kind of like that Rene Magritte painting of the just like man with the hat and the coat, and there's no actual person there. I really like that, and that it embodies the idea of calamity, and it's just untethered now. Because it makes it so that this force of calamity is just like a force of nature, and it's just something manipulated by Toru, and I find that really interesting. What I don't like
is cool.
is how Josuke shows up 2 seconds later and just nukes in the head.
Also,
Yep.
Wonder if you surviving after like Toru being disintegrated, essentially, like
Yeah.
creeping around
Yeah.
still. Like I don't know, just for Josuke, yeah, like for Josuke to get the killing blow because our main character has to get the final hit in.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
I think it's really neat because, like, I do feel like a few ways about this, but one thing I think is really neat is, so we see it specifically target Narisuke, and when it targets him, it seems to activate Speed King, because we see, like, the Speed King effect.
I don't think it was activating Speed King. I think it was just making the effects of Speed King's, like, the boiling his head
Yeah.
worse, take a sudden turn for the worse, because Calamity is just things going very poorly
Yeah, you could
when
argue that
they
it's like-
really don't have a good reason to.
Yeah, you could argue that it's his burns getting infected or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think last episode, Jim, I think it's saying like, they should have been like, Josuke on the phone with Yashiho, and then Yashiho and Josuke together, taking out Toru. That would have been like the best ending for it. Like her holding the phone and then go beyond going again and taking him out.
Having Josuke just do it is like, yeah, it kind of sucks that Yasuho.
This is
doesn't
someone
do it.
Yasuho has like known for her entire life. That's been like grooming her.
I hate so much that he was just able to control it now.
Yeah.
That's awful.
He goes stand back. I don't think I can control it very well, but he controls it very well after
like that ruins the whole interesting part of Go Beyond. The most interesting thing in Go Beyond is that he is not able to use it on his own, and then he just uses it on his own.
Like I said, like how cool would it have been for just Yasho to hold the phone out, like, Yasho, help me out here, and then just have them together. Yeah, that would have been
cool if he was like, if it kind of subverted like the oda thing, where he's just like very, very calmly and like he's finally very composed and confident in his new ability, but he still needs her, and that would have been cool if he was like, fuck you, just point it over there, and then he's like, do it. I don't know. That would have been very neat. But
and you could have, you could have also just like easily put that into the like illustration of him where he's like pointing and saying "Go Beyond." Like it would have fit to just have Yasuho there with him and doing it too. It would have also been better. Like,
people think people are trying to say, "Oh, Gappy's not really there though. It's gonna be an illusion." Watch.
Yeah, those people are. There's like there's copium, there's super copium, and then there's hyper copium.
Yeah,
they're called dopium.
And then there's that.
Oh my god.
There's
a lot of copium coming from this chapter.
Listen, and I will say,
so much.
Contrary to the last 50 minutes, I enjoyed this chapter. Especially after rereading like those what is it now, like
a lot.
Is it 10 chapters or 20 chapters? I'm bad at math. This is why I'm an
20.
artist.
It's about 20, yeah.
So after rereading those chapters, 89 through 108, I was like, okay, the pacing is really not that bad when you read through all of that, right? It's really not that bad because a lot more happens than you remember happened in that time. I don't know. The chapter in isolation, especially when you wait a month for it, it feels like a lot. But going through all of that, I don't know if you guys reread it or like what your perspectives are. I didn't think the pacing was that off when reading retrospectively all at once. But
I've read through the Wonder Review like as a full arc, like an iteration with each new chapter, quite a few times, and I think for the most part it's well paced in everything except for Wonder Review itself, which it just constantly does the same shit over and over again, and it's never interesting in how it's used, and it never provides new versatile like implementations, and that just makes things drag a bit.
Also,
the arc itself, I think, works, but I'm just saying, like, the end of this chapter specifically, I don't think it's as abrupt and, like, machine gunny as it was on my initial read.
I still think it's a bit machine gunny, but yeah.
It's a little bit, it's not as much.
When Rocky needs him to do something, like, Runner you need to do something, he had another rock insect for him to have.
Yeah,
and I hate that.
Really
I got tired of
frustrating
that.
In retrospect.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, so going back, we talked about it earlier, but Gabby's whole plan with sitting in the room waiting for Wonder Review to attack, really interesting idea for a fight, because it's like two guys that don't want to punch each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like,
I thought it was
just pulls out a bug.
I thought it was
going to be a bug at him.
I thought it was gonna be talk no jutsu for like them just talking for a little bit. That would have been like interesting.
Yeah, and I will say the concept of him like having all of these like being hyper prepared, almost to the point of being paranoid, is a really good idea. But the execution in that every time he brings out a new rock animal, it grinds the chapter to a screeching halt is the most annoying shit ever.
It was literally popsicle sticks and cookies.
Yeah, they are kind of lame. But it's neat having this guy just he's got like so much shit in his pocket. That's such a cool idea.
I was like, Gabby's plan was, I'm gonna put a bunch of soap bubbles out, and if you run into it, it's your own fault.
The problem is it's like chocolate disco. It's like if we got like too many chocolate discos in a row.
Yeah, if this ever gets animated, I think it'll be pretty cool. But in the manga, it just doesn't work because like it's a fucking drag every time one of these animals comes out.
It's them playing the floor is lava essentially.
Yeah, it's not even fun to watch. You can't just like blaze through it even. Like it just feels like a fucking slog.
They just got to, oh yeah, we killed him. Yay, now that's over with. Oh no, another one.
Remember when Yasuho went back home to get her hairpin that was crushed by Kira analyzed, and then nothing ever came about of that?
Yep.
And the next time rock insects are mentioned is when the da was just thrown out. That's really like
I remember.
That's really like not a great kind of segue with the rock insects at all.
Yeah. The hair clip was the most interesting one. Every like it says a rock animals is what's it called, from the Urban Gorilla arc.
Yeah.
Do re mi fa sol la ti do.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lily has a rock animal, but the rock like creatures are like the weirdest thing to me.
You gotta love how the rock creatures consist of weird mole dog thing, scaffolding, cookies, and then just a dog.
Oh yeah, here's my question, by the way. Do they also get birthed inside of, like, hornets? Or is that just rock humans?
I want to know.
Do-re-mi actually, like, breed it with a tank?
Yeah, did they get put inside of ants? Like, what's the deal? Like,
they're so, like, biodiverse. They're so, like, diverse in their biology that I think they all have, like, unique upbringings somehow.
With Urban Gorilla, where did he keep when he was like at the hospital? Where did he keep the tank at? Was it in the parking lot?
On the ground.
It was his chair.
Was it in the parking lot?
He had
in
parking lot. He has his own spot.
He had employee parking.
It's like,
imagine that creepy face just like looking at you all day. You work in the office across the hall.
It's like Wheel of Fortune, okay? Just like Wheel of Fortune, Jim.
No, we love Wheel of Fortune.
No, we don't.
I was going to say earlier, imagine if in Stardust Crusaders they have Tower of Grey and then they fight them like 5 more times. The rock insects.
Tower of Grey can take every rocket insect without like any freaking
Tower of Grey is one of those hilarious like early stands. It's way too OP for some reason.
It's faster than Star Platinum, which is caught like a bullet.
Catches bullets, catches like microscopic creatures. We love Part 3, don't we, folks?
Part 3 created heritage to the future, and that's enough worth.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody hates JoJo more than JoJo fans.
But so yeah, I mean, Jojolion, like, it's
what a
ending.
great
Hey, man.
manga.
Where are we going from here?
Hey man, I'm still holding out for that hope for that hospital battle with Holly getting Star Platinum. Okay.
I wanted to say something about Toru, my boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's his last name? No.
Coon.
Jojolion.
No, seriously, what's his last name?
So Toru Jojolion is interesting. So in rereading, I know I didn't reread from the start. I'm not a psycho, but I was just thinking, like, now that he's been here for a while. He's been with the story for, by raw chapter count, about 1/5 of the entire thing as like an active participant.
Yeah.
I feel like if they had brought up the concept not of like the head doctor or like Toru, or because that would have spoiled the whole point of him like being there and being an is he not villain, right?
I disagree.
Like, I
think they could have implemented the head doctor way earlier without.
Yeah. I'm saying they didn't have to. I'm saying I think all they really needed to do was imply that there is a person at the head of this thing, and that's all they needed to do.
Imagine
like,
if you went to the hospital more to visit Holly or something.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I don't want to talk over you, but
feel free. We do it all the time. It's part of the podcast.
We do it all the time. This is what people. Okay, so they brought up a lot earlier that there was like, oh yeah, they're like fucking, they're experimenting on Holly, they're like drilling holes in her head, like it's like super crazy, and then like that's like, oh fuck, this hospital's super fucked up, but we never get the sense that there's a guy behind it all, right? We get the
Right.
sense that it's this organization that's like, you know, very like pulling the strings, but we never get the sense that there's this one guy, the head doctor. But we totally should early on. And again, I think if this gets an anime, we probably will get a lot of like, oh, the head doctor, like you
Like
know,
the Hitman
maybe a
team
couple
got?
of scenes of like Akefu in the shadows, right?
Yeah,
I
like the
think
Hitman
the
team got that
main
whole like
issue-
character stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main issue is how often they reiterate that rock humans are independent, and that's just broken by the fact of there being a big bad.
Also, there's like 4 rock humans other
Yeah.
than the head doctor working at the hospital,
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, like,
including
again,
poor Tom.
I'm kind of like Jim in the respect that I don't think there needs to be a main villain, but I feel like Araki does. But he's
Yeah,
just
like,
kind of like
there's no anyone saying, "Oh, there's no main villain in JoJo." Fun, screw you. It's Toru.
The rock
It's
humans
Toru
are the
at
main villain.
I'm
Yeah.
not denying it's Toru. It's Toru.
yeah.
I just think the
I mean-
rock
I mean, you're
humans.
right.
The rock humans
I'm-
are the main villains of the party.
Yeah. I'm from the perspective of I don't think it needed to have a main villain, but I think Araki was trying to make it have a main villain, and it being
Yeah.
Toru, and I don't
I
think
Exactly.
it works.
Like I saw people, in part 2 say Cars is the main villain, but I always thought like Whammy was like the main villain of part 2
Why?
Yeah,
because he felt more like he had more connection to Joseph in that. Like
That just makes him a better villain,
Cars
not the
was
main
stronger
villain.
though.
Car-
Yeah.
Cars was just the
Cars
last
had a
one left,
bigger
man.
number.
Yeah. Also,
Cars would
with
have lost
regards
to
to the
Caesar.
with regards to the rock humans, and like I have never liked this recent characterization of the rock humans as like soulless. First of all, I don't want to get like political here, but like the concept of an entire race of people that's just inherently soulless and evil is a little bit cringe.
Well, and like,
Yeah,
they
it
have
sucks.
like, no,
the
no
whole
emotion.
kingdom of the hats thing.
Yeah.
They're all emotionless. They don't like care about anybody. But like we see
Yeah.
the one has like a relationship, even though like he's
Aisho
like
Dainenjiyama, right? Is that his
Yeah.
name?
I think so.
Yes.
What?
Everybody.
I showed
Hajime
I showed
Ishiyama?
Dainenjiyama and also Dolomiti.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dolomite is like similar. Fuck. And then so like
Even Toru
don't-
showed like a little bit of like to Yashiho.
yeah,
Like
he seemed to
and
give
he
a
has
shit
a little
about
sentimental
something.
moment at the
Yeah.
end. I love the
Yeah.
little moment where he sees the bee and he's like, "Mummy."
Yeah, it's
I
like
killed you.
remember
I
the
don't
other
know-
rock human that came out was Toru?
I don't know how much Araki believes it, because I feel like you could have a thing where it's like, yeah, they're kind of off on a bad foot, right? Where they're like they have
Right.
a really they have a good chance of being bad dudes. But
Their
you
upbringing
know,
is
that's-
shit, like
yeah,
universally.
But that's
If you're
kind
raised
of
by
the whole
bugs.
theme of Jojolion is kind of like rising above your position, rising above like the what you've been given. And I think that they could have a situation where that gets subverted, and it's like, oh yeah, not every rock human is a bad dude. There still is Jojolion to be published. I'm not going to say that he never delves into this. I'm just saying he probably really should. Because at the moment, it feels super inconsistent how they're characterized in, like, the meta text.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I talked about this a lot before on Twitter, that like the main issue with the rock humans is that they're an entire species that is mainly just like unredeemable, essentially.
Yeah.
And we have 0 examples of them like acting against their own nature, which makes them incredibly boring. The whole point
Yeah.
of creating rules for your species is so that you could have examples where they are broken, because that's how humans are. We constantly break our own nature, do things against our own interests for the sake of like our own beliefs and stuff like that. So like the fact that we don't have Josuke being part rock human or something, or Rai Mamazuku being a rock human, when he really probably should have been, because his character really fits the rock humans well, but
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother
nothing would have
thing.
changed. Also, Toru's motivation was just money.
I guess so.
his motivation was to be above humans, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
By being rich, I guess.
by creating a
I
society
guess so.
that
Well, I think
revolves around him or something.
I think
He
that
lives in a society.
I'll
Got it.
give Araki some credit here because I think that giving the species of people, let's just say they're people. That sounds so fucking weird. Let's
There are
just say for
parallel
sake of
Let's
argument
say
that they're
for a
people.
moment they're people.
So like, given that they are people, I feel like it is probably pretty good, like thematically, that you have this group of people that is pretty inherently parasitic because that's how they're brought up for years, and giving their essential goal to be self-sufficient. Like, I feel
Right.
like that's a really good goal and it's a pretty good through line through most of these characters, and it seems to almost be like the folly of characters like Aisho Dainajiyama, or like Dolomite, how they seem to rely on the validation of other people, and it's like, that's kind of like a push and pull that they have, in that Aisho is very dependent in a human way, and Dolomite feels like he's sort of resigned himself to being a rock human, even though he begrudgingly is kind of doing it. I don't know. I feel like it's explored in a really interesting way, and I really hope that this characterization isn't just, oh yeah, fuck that. That was fake. That was dumb. Because I feel like he has really good ideas here. I just hope that he realizes that he's having really good ideas.
Even just comparing them, because I think the obvious point of comparison
Yeah.
is to the Pillar Men.
Yeah.
And
Right,
like
yeah.
comparing them to the few Pillar Men that we see, because we see I think four.
Four,
like,
yeah.
actual
No, we
named
see
ones in the story.
we see the species that the rest of them that Cars kills because they didn't follow him.
Oh, that's true.
But we meet like 4 actual ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are
Right.
4
But so
actual...
comparing,
But we get
comparing
examples
those
of
characters.
ones that go against that.
Yeah, and like even within their group, like SCDC is such a strange little character.
Yeah.
Really?
Even like
Really?
even like Whamu too. Like they all have like very distinct motives, and like the scene where they clash in the beginning, because what is it? Is it when Car steps in Wham's shadow?
Yeah.
Or what?
He,
One of them
donkey
like
kicks him.
yeah, just like having those little scenes, I think would have, or not even scenes, but adding that level of characterization towards the rock humans, I think would have done a lot more for them. But unfortunately, just the way that Jojolion is structured, it's like very hooked on the like shonen battle, like giving a fight every few chapters, and they're not sticking around because they're bad guys. So we
Yeah.
unfortunately don't get to like see these characters interact with anyone but Josuke.
Most of
or
them are
whatever
murdered,
the-
and then are murdered
relevant one is.
very brutally in the middle
Yeah.
of broad daylight.
Now, in fairness, we do get to see a few rock humans talking about other rock humans, which is new-ish.
Mhm.
Like, doesn't Aisho talk about Yotsuyu or something?
Yeah,
Or
he
is
and
someone talking
Yotsuyu have
about
a thing,
Aisho?
and he's like very concerned that Yotsuyu isn't responding, and it's not clear for what reasons, but it's like it's kind of alright. Aisho has a bit more going on here. Aisho should have been the main villain.
God, I fucking love Aisho. Like, design character,
Aisho's
he's
the
one of
best
my
one.
favorites. Yeah, absolutely. He had a dumb stand, but other than that, like, fuck, it was so cool. I love that dude. Yeah, it is really definitely a shame that like they didn't do more with him.
Everybody loved Dama though.
Yeah,
Yeah, Damo's
Ugh,
great,
love
but
Damo.
for like other reasons, like he doesn't do anything for the rock humans.
yeah.
He's just like
I don't know.
he's he's a sick bastard, but we
Sick
love that about
bastard.
him.
With Spice Girls on crack.
Yep.
But are there any other?
I just want to say
So,
one last thing about 108. The final panel with Yasuho and Gappy finally reunited. I have been spending most of Jojolion where I'm just like, man, I hope they get together at the end. I really like them together. They have such good chemistry. And I got to this
Yeah.
page and I felt fucking nothing.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Because it feels very unearned
It
in this
does.
moment, where it's like they have this huge falling out in
Yeah.
like chapter 89-ish, right?
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
it's like-
the meme was like last time I saw you like push me away.
Yeah,
Essentially,
they
tell me I
don't
was
say
lying.
a fucking word to each other that isn't
Like she should be pissed.
Yeah, they should have a conversation on screen or in panel, however you'd say it in a manga. Like, they need to have a conversation about their fucking, like, feelings.
Gabby should
or
apologize.
something.
I
Yes.
won't
The
say
first thing
anything
you should
too
say is
much
sorry.
about that because we might still get it. We
Yes.
don't know what happens after this point, so I won't comment on that too much.
Yeah.
But currently, I just like that the relationship does nothing for me. It doesn't feel earned in the slightest.
Oh my god,
I
you
wouldn't
killed my
even have these
ex-boyfriend.
issues if it wasn't for that final panel. Like, the final panel seems to it wants to speed run their
Yeah.
reconciliation.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Like we said,
It's weird.
the
and
first
they both
half of the
look
chapter is great. The
expressionless.
second, like so much happened that second half of 108. It's just like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the first. I would just overall I love the first half of the chapter. I didn't hate it because I don't hate Jojolion. It would
Yeah.
take
Oh, I do.
it would take a very rapid, terrible thing
Every-
to hate Jojolion.
it's just
Joel-
Blue Hawaii Part 15, Jim.
people have been saying
Yes.
that I hate Jojolion because I've been bitching about it for the past couple of weeks, but I don't hate Jojolion. I so much of Jojolion was hinging upon certain things being well resolved, and it just feels like it's not going to happen. And that doesn't take away from what Jojolion has done well, but it certainly does put a damper on certain things and make it not quite as amazing as it could be.
Also, this is the first.
Yeah.
Like,
It
this is
sucks
the first,
because it feels like missed potential more than anything. Not
yeah,
that
it's also,
Jojolion is bad.
This is also the first time people are reading a JoJo part
Yeah.
this many people reading it ongoing, and
Right.
I'm just
So-
just imagining the
Yeah.
monthly grind of reading the end of part 7 and having people's thoughts on
Part 6 even.
yeah, even
Mhm.
part 6 as well, yeah. Well, part 6 was still weekly though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. But still,
Yeah.
Like,
I
the
had to
monthly
read that
wait,
shit.
where you had to
I waited seconds between chapters.
for part 7 you had to
Yeah.
wait a monthly to have it the chapters stew on you and not knowing what's gonna happen next. But
Yeah.
and like I said, there was this part being more mysteries. It's just makes everybody question every little
Mhm.
thing.
Binge
Going
readers are
back to,
going to have the benefit of hindsight, and it's going to make it seem like a lot of Jojolion discourse just didn't make sense, but...
Yeah.
I think, and
Yeah.
the one thing I said in our last podcast was just the views of this chapter are going to change when we get to the next one.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to be really funny how this video ages.
Yeah.
Or this
Uh-huh.
podcast in particular.
Just as well as the end of Jojolion. So
The thing is, it's not even, I think once we get into part 9, it's still going to have stuff, new revelations for the content in Jojolion, because that's what happened with Steel Ball Run. We still got
Yeah.
new revelations about Steel Ball Run in Jojolion, so, we're
Yeah.
gonna be at this shit. If Araki decides to continue into part 9, which I think he is, considering we're nearly at the end here and the current state, I think we're going to
seems
get part
likely.
9, and it's going to, we're not even going to be done with all the Jojolion stuff at that point. We're still going to get new revelations and stuff like that.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
to
just thinking back to all of the, because it was maybe 10 chapters into Jojolion when we saw the family tree, we saw the Higashikata family tree. I remember that was such a big moment because oh my god, there's all this connection to
Oh
Steel
my
Ball
god,
Run,
Johnny
this feels
Joestar
a
isn't
sequel.
gay.
Sad. But just I wanted to say one thing, so the idea of a bad ending ruining a story, I know there's a lot of people that feel this way. I would have a hard time feeling that way about Jojolion, even if the ending is bad, which I'm not saying it is, but I would still have really enjoyed everything up to this point.
yeah.
I still I say this hesitantly, but I still like Attack on Titan, even though the ending was kind of a fucking disaster.
I have mixed feelings about Attack on Titan, but Jojolion is so much more than its story. I don't have
It's-
quite
Yeah.
the same
I mean-
feelings about JoJo as I do Attack on Titan.
It's becoming very clear, especially recently, that this really is part 4 too. Not in a lot of ways. But
I feel this is part 3 too.
Okay, shut up. No.
I think it's
Alright,
part
continue.
1.
Sorry, continue.
In a lot of ways, it's a very character-based story, and
Mhm.
it kind of dispatches with a lot of the JoJo mainstays. That's kind of what I'm saying, and it's I don't know. It feels like it could have a similar kind of resolution, and that it's very, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's like optimistic. It's very focused on like the goals that the characters have, and not so much like how specifically they go about doing them. In that case, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's very clear what Araki is going for with this because of the origins of Jojolion and how like it's based upon the 2011 tsunami and earthquake in Japan and how he was personally devastated from it, and him trying to represent how he feels like, okay, even when shit happens and there's like calamities that occur and like bad stuff happens to you, even though you believe you're a good person, there's still hope at the end of the tunnel, and there's still like a way to progress. It feels like very obvious that that's where he's coming from with this, and so I think ultimately it's gonna end with like a hopeful message. Like it's gonna be bittersweet.
I think that what I was going for when comparing it to part 4 is that it's, I think more than any other part 8 is going for a vibe, right? It's not so much like specific, like intricate, like a intricately woven plot with like different like twists and turns. It's just going for like a vibe, and it's just like, here's how I feel. I'm just throwing my passion out onto the page, right?
I don't know if this is gonna make any sense, but it feels like part 4 is yellow Morio and part 8 is purple Morio. I don't know if that like represents it. Does that make any sense?
Excuse me?
Is
like,
this like
it feels...
math is red and history is blue or whatever?
Oh my god, I got into
Like
a humongous
synesthesia?
argument one day about that.
Oh my
No,
God.
it feels like it's basically two different takes on the same. You have the same painting, right? One's in one color scheme, the other's in a different color scheme, but they're both the same values. It feels like that.
Oh, it's like the dress. It's like the dress that's sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's yellow.
Like
Yeah,
that,
no, yeah,
except
I get
actually
what you
different
mean.
colors.
No.
Oh,
Aeonstar.
no.
Aeonstar.
No.
No, I mean
part
like
8
actually changing. You know what I mean? Shut up.
No, I get it. Here, I'm gonna say it, okay? Part 8 is liquid part 4. It's all of part 4's cursed genes.
Oh my god, all the recessive genes.
The recessive
It's
genes.
all of part 4's recessive genes.
I love this.
And then 5 years from now, we'll find out that it was truly all the dominant genes, in fact.
That is my favorite plot twist ever in Metal Gear, is that first off, no one understands what recessive genes are. Second off, is that
Doesn't make
the
any
recessive are the
sense.
good ones.
I can't wait for the flashback man in part 4 to be actually Gappy.
God.
So when
I
are
can't
we gonna
believe
get
we have
Solidus?
two flashback mans, both in Wario.
All connected.
It's a
Oh
mystery.
god.
It's a beautiful, beautiful mystery.
History is a loop.
My brain hurt.
So how are we feeling? How are we feeling about the discussion?
Terrible.
We could,
My,
Right,
Yeah,
everyone,
I
little-
feel
little
actively
check.
worse.
my room is 90
little
degrees.
check-in. I know, yeah. It's so hot. It's so hot in here. In this room I'm in right now, but it's like an effect. It's like my mental state leaking out into my real world.
Oh god.
But no, I think maybe just kind of talking about. So yeah, I think we had a few different ideas of how much is left of JoJolion. We're talking about like there could be at least 2. I was
Literally
saying that I would,
dozens.
like there could be literally dozens of chapters.
I will say that I think I would put a decent amount of money down on there being at least 1 more volume's worth of chapters.
Agreed.
Yeah, they gotta finish that other half of Kato.
What,
You gotta
chop off
have
her
to
other
see-
side? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, they gotta fill out the rest of it. You can't just have half a character to the end of your spine
Oh, I
cover.
thought you meant like
Could
with
you?
a saw blade.
Oh, that'd be great. And the 1B.
So do you have any like insane predictions? I think that Jobin's not dead. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
the Jobin's
yeah,
not
sure.
dead.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
okay,
whatever you
here's my
say.
take. Here's my take. I don't know if Jobin is dead or if he's not dead, but I think we're gonna see Jobin again in some capacity. That's my
Hell
that's
yeah.
my
If
thing.
we do,
Whether
then
or not
through a
it's
flashback.
the Jobin, whether or not it's the Jobin we know, maybe he's like resurrected. I think there's a good chance that he died. I don't know if we're done with Jobin. That's my take.
I think there's only two scenarios where we see Jobin again, and it's through a flashback or through Tsurugi's Paper Moon King creating a fake Jobin.
That's a good take. I agree with you, Aeonstar.
Thank you.
It just makes me sad because Jobin might be like one of my favorite JoJo characters because I
Absolutely.
think he exists in like a way that we don't normally see. Like it's really hard to compare him to any existing ones. I've seen
Yeah.
people say like he's kind of like Rohan,
He's
where he's
not.
kind of like
He's very
Nah,
different.
Like-
I don't think that.
yeah. I see him as so interesting because he could have easily been like the main villain, but he's got like so much like he's such a strong goal that's like a very noble goal, but it's like the way he's doing it is like, oh, maybe he's bad. But to have him just go and be gone would make me a little sad. I
By
would like
exploding
to see more.
hairspray can.
Absolutely.
He's like the
Yes.
original Josuke if the original Josuke was a dick.
Or even more of a dick.
Yeah, I
I-
love Jobin. He's easily like, maybe
He's the most
not
interesting
now.
character.
Maybe
You
not
gotta
now that his character arc basically just got stopped dead in its tracks. But
Literally.
depending on how things go from here on out, he could end up being my favorite JoJo character. He has probably my favorite design in all of JoJo.
With that
Hell
first
yeah.
design?
He's very hot. I like him a lot, okay?
Yeah, he really blew up.
He green.
He green.
That's all I got. I love the
Allegedly.
guy. He's great. He's got like he's got like interests. I think that's one of my favorite parts about
Yes.
him, and it's something that a lot of recent JoJo characters have lacked. But you could like picture like Jobin spending his free time doing something. You could imagine
Beetles?
things that he does. He like plays with
Yes.
his beetles. He has
Illegal
interests
beetle
and
wrestling
hobbies.
rings.
Yeah, like with a lot of characters in Jojolion, maybe not so much Jojolion, but especially a few other parts, I can't even imagine what they would be doing in their spare time. I can imagine Jobin's entire day in my head, right?
You know what?
I
He's
can
such a
imagine.
person.
I can imagine the same thing with Joshu, and I can imagine the same thing with Daya of all people.
Yeah.
Because Daya's day is just a Rocky's day.
Yeah. I was gonna say Joshu gives us a similar vibe, but Joshu's gross, and I
Yeah,
don't like
fuck
him.
Joshu.
Yeah.
The one thing I like
No,
about
but
about
Joshu
Jobin-
like probably spends all day just like watching Kamen Rider or some shit.
But yeah,
He does love idols, apparently. He's
Oh
very
God,
into
he
them.
probably
Joshu
loves Love
is-
Live.
Like I think the reason so many people love Joshu, even though he's Joshu, is because he feels like a kind of person that you could actually meet and like.
Joshu would love redo of a healer.
Oh
Yeah.
God, he would.
I don't want to. Again, not to get like political. I think every woman has met a Joshu.
Yeah, probably.
Or someone who shares many of his qualities, I think.
I've met several Joshus at conventions. Joshu like people. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, as someone who's been a Joshu, no, I'm kidding.
I got very scared for a second.
If you haven't met a Joshu, then you've
Yeah,
been
Jim-
You're
one.
probably Joshu.
Like
Jim
my
removes
take,
his mask off. It's just Joshu.
My take on Joshu is that he's a great character, but he probably smells like balls, and I don't want to be around
Ugh.
him. That's my
Yeah.
perspective. I wouldn't buy a shirt of him. But
No, he'd be the guy that buy the expensive cologne that smells like ass.
Yeah.
They try to impress a woman.
I'm glad he exists. That's all I can say. I'm
But-
glad that he doesn't exist in real life.
Yeah. Well,
Well, him
you ever see
specifically.
JoJo cosplayers at a convention? They get way
That's
too
true.
into it.
That's true. I've like met Smash players. Like,
Oh God.
The true drag.
Oh no.
oh god.
No, I would say with Jobin, like especially like you see him interact with like he has stand battles alongside his son, which is like very fun, and you see him interact with his wife. Like you see him
Yes.
interact with like, everybody
Oh my
like
God.
in his family.
He loves his wife.
Yeah.
He loves his
What-
wife.
One of the few
Oh my
characters
God.
in
Wife
JoJo
guy.
that respects women.
Wife guy. Jobin's a wife
He is
guy.
a wife guy. He's totally a wife guy. One of my favorite implications of Jojolion, or that we get from Jojolion, is that he has sex with the Beatles on.
Yeah.
He has the Beatles crawl on him.
Not
The
only-
Beatles stay on during sex.
Not only the Beatles, he loves his wife's new weird bumpy nose. I'm assuming it's like a rough
Yeah.
like sandpaper
Yeah,
like
I'm
nose.
like rocking back and forth right now. I love
I love
That is one
Mitsuba.
of my-
She was like one of my favorite characters introduced
Yeah.
in like
The
whole,
best
like,
part
later
about
half.
Mitsuba's redesign is that I can't see Jobin marrying the original Mitsuba design, but I can see him marrying the new Mitsuba redesign.
Yeah.
Yes.
Their
God,
old design, Jobin's old design too is
Yeah, that was interesting. It's
Yeah.
only in like
Yeah.
one panel though, so
that
Dweeb.
that moment when like Mitsuba's nose is all fucked up and she's like, babe, I look like shit, and then Jobin's like, no, dude, you look like a fucking rhinoceros beetle. You look awesome. Like, I love that. That's so cute.
Yo, that's my
so
fetish,
cute.
man.
I
Say
love
no
them.
more. Yeah, the
Great.
shit.
I know.
The shame she's
now-
I
a
don't
shame.
want him to
It's
die.
a shame she's
and
a
now
single mother
Mitsuba
now.
is a single
Okay.
mother.
You guys in the comments can say Cope all you want. He's a good character and I don't want him to be dead.
Me too. I'm huffing that copium with you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I've
I
run out.
appreciate it.
I've run out of copium.
Hey, man.
I'm not doing this shit anymore.
We all have our like out of left field thoughts, so
Listen, bud, it's not called copium, it's called hopium, okay? And I'm hoping
I've run out of
you get
that
to see
too.
my boy again.
if combined it'll be chopium. I'm just
What?
saying.
What?
Combine them
What?
both as
Hold
chopium.
on, what?
Combine them
I'm
both as
on-
What does that
chopium.
mean?
I'm on some mad chopium right now. Good God.
It's a
Chopium
portmanteau.
disturbs
It's
me.
a very hybrid portmanteau.
This really flew off the rails. The second
I
we started
would-
talking about Jobin.
Hour and a half in, you're gonna.
One might say there were no rails to begin with.
Yeah. I feel like this
I guess
conversation was doomed from the moment we started
I-
it.
I want to ask you like your prediction of this. What do you think's gonna happen with Holly now? Since this is like they haven't really talked about Holly after she appeared at all.
Who are you
Okay.
asking? Are you asking me?
Just everybody in general.
Okay.
No, not you. Not about you, but like.
I know,
the character
not
Holly.
about me. It's confusing, I know.
The Holly
Oh,
that's in the
man.
hospital.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard a lot of people saying that she's an unresolved plot thread.
Because
I feel
if
like you
this-
could. I feel like you could wrap up her whole thing in like 2 pages, though.
Because if
I, like,
there is one
I
piece
really hope
of
it's
the
not
fruit
just 2
hidden,
pages, because like
If there's-
she's the entirety of Gappy's like pathos
Motiv-
in this entire thing.
like, if-
absolutely, I agree.
if Jim is like correct with like thinking there could be one fruit left hidden that she cut out, like what do you think could happen with that one piece of fruit?
It has to be for Holly, right? I mean, like the other idea is that it's for Joshu, and that's how Joshu was not fucked up in the flash forward.
Or Joven?
Or Job, I guess. I mean, it does. There is a little bit of like Herm. Could my boy Jobin come back?
Yeah. Or you just get to take all the rest of the sap out of that thing.
Josuke
True.
is
Well,
gonna
it seems-
wrench. Josuke is gonna wrench that fucking fruit from
Yeah.
Sarugi's fingers.
I mean,
He'll
I could
yeah.
totally imagine
Use those bubbles.
yeah, I could imagine like concocting some reason why Tsurugi would like view his dad as being weak or something for being overpowered by
From
Jobin.
all his
and then
life
using,
lessons.
Yeah, and like using a piece of the fruit to like use Norisuke to resurrect Jobin or something like that.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. Like
that
Fuck
would
you,
be
Dad.
really out of character for
Yeah.
Tsurugi.
I don't know though. Like having him being brainwashed by his dad's fucked up ideology is really not that out of left field.
Unless like
Also, there was
Toru
the
is
idea that, like-
influencing him.
Okay.
Like that
Yeah.
seems like too drastic a switch for Tsurugi so soon.
So- Tsurugi with that medical
know.
knowledge, when he's still alive. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
In fairness,
Toru.
it
Like,
also
dun,
goes
dun,
against the
dun.
monologue of Tsurugi being all about like hope or whatever, like the hope on the young boy's cheek or whatever dumb
cope,
shit.
the hopium.
Like, look at this.
The
This is how
hopium on
Tsurugi
his-
is reacting to Norisuke in 108. I don't see him going from, Dad is more strong than Norisuke, so I should
Yeah.
kill Norisuke for Jobin or something
Yeah.
like that.
That's
Yeah,
just
like,
what came off the top of my head.
He
but,
hasn't
you
had any time to really think about any life lessons when he's been like turning to origami like for like the past like 10 chapters.
Yeah, Tsurugi has basically been on par with Yasuho in terms of suffering.
I think more because he's actually contorting his body in the freaking origami.
It would be really
race.
funny to like, so the idea that like Toru starts influencing Tsurugi, like his hair starts getting like really fluffy and becomes like a big fro.
Oh,
I like-
please
Like,
no.
it's really
That sounds
funny.
so dumb.
I love it though. It sounds horrible.
Are we going back to like our fusion predictions of just like
Oh,
everybody
God.
just fusing with one another?
I don't know if they'll reuse that, honestly. I don't know.
I hope not. I feel.
I hope they don't bury any of those bodies in the backyard where the the ground can like fuse together.
Jobin Norisuke fusion. I'm just gonna say those words out loud.
No.
Jobin Norisuke fusion.
Oh,
No.
what about why would they do this? Tsurugi and Norisuke. That kind of looks
That'd be
like
so fun.
that kind of looks like the flashback guy.
Oh my god.
Like, it was like the
Are we
Are
equivalent
we just gonna
point.
keep predicting like every single time we're here? The flashback guy is a fusion.
I don't fucking know, man. They haven't given us shit to work off of. It could be anyone. It could be me. It could be you. I don't know.
I
Flashback
am
Man's
the
what
flashback
Sam and I
man.
look like when we fuse.
God,
I don't doubt it.
I don't think so, but
I just gotta say though, like depending on how it all turns out, I might change my mind on this. But I feel like the flash forward and the countdown to harvest have just been an overall negative force on Jojolion discussion in general.
Yeah. yeah.
Yes, true.
Literally
True.
half our old episodes just be like, but it doesn't make sense if we like line it up with like the flashback or something like that.
You know
I made a
what?
meticulously
Yes.
detailed fucking timeline of like events, and it was for nothing.
Yeah. You know what? Jojolion speculation is like Smash Brothers DLC character speculation.
you were
It's
you were
dog
completely
shit
right.
and it hurts everyone.
You're like,
But it drives clicks.
Yeah,
But
one
it
person-
drives clicks.
one person could be like, "Oh, I'm really happy for Kazuya." Or I'm like, "What the fuck is this shit? Get it the fuck out of here! Get this fighting game out of here!"
See, this is why I stopped making JoJo videos.
Yeah. I mean, you
Oh,
made a
man,
fighting
you
game
just
video with the
made
fighting
me-
game community, is you know, the fighting game community. At some
Don't
point.
worry, no one watched it anyway.
I watched it.
You just made me realize I ruined the fucking King Creole comment section for nothing.
For nothing!
For nothing!
That is actually amazing. That's kind of like your footprint. That's like your digital footprint.
It-
I want
really is
that
the most
footprint!
It is a burden, I will tell you. Dude, they had to turn the comments off on the on
Space trucking.
I think that's automatic. I think it was just because it was automatically uploaded
no,
by YouTube.
no. On
Are
the
you sure?
the no, not on that one. The what? I don't even remember my own fucking videos. What song did I use? I'll Be Lucky Someday. They had to turn the
Yeah.
comments off on that one.
Oh,
Are you sure
Oh
that's
my
not just an
God.
automatic? Because they removed
No,
the comment
because
section
I-
for
it
a
was-
lot of automatic.
No, it was on a video that it had comments on it for years, and then they took
Huh.
it off like after it blew up.
No, I think because the same thing happened with a lot of automatically generated YouTube
It's
comment
not
sections.
an automatically generated video though.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Because, like, that happened with most of the King Creole soundtrack, so I know.
No, I totally I know, but
I went to the King
Trust me,
Creole
okay?
and I found a comment. Can't wait for all the JoJo fans to cloud this comment section. This was a year ago.
God.
Oh, it's so painful, man. I was hoping
Don't
so
worry.
hard for it. The thing is, like, I'm not upset that I was wrong. I'm upset that I'm not upset that I was wrong about what the revelations were. I'm upset that we never got a revelation.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Hmm.
But the ride, though, the ride was so much fun. I
It's
loved
all about
watching
the
your
journey.
videos.
Uh,
It is just like Persona 3.
Sh-
The journey.
Shut up.
Shut up.
And then
What is
Persona
that?
3, the answer.
What kind of segue is that?
Welcome
It's
to our
a segue
Sorry,
podcast.
I'm doing a
into our
Persona
new
3 spin-off
Persona
podcast.
3 podcast.
This is Atlas podcast where we talk about everything. So, what's your thoughts about Mothman?
Mothman.
Hey, speaking of fusions between two unlikely people, SMT5.
Jesus.
The Flashback Man is
SMT5
the
is pretty
SMT
sick.
Sexy lady. Or
What if
sexy
there's
boy.
what if in Jojolion there's a fusion accident?
I think that's what Josuke is.
And then he's actually Mara.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
God,
shit.
Don't.
You're asking. People keep asking Nintendo, why does Mara have 4 balls in this game?
Ugh, fuck.
I'm gonna fucking jump out my window right now.
I forgot that he.
Conversation.
Okay, guys. Wait, have we talked about this before? I'm getting like deja vu.
What?
Great initial D song, by the way.
Okay, I'm getting. Thank you.
Stop.
But I'm getting deja vu here. Does Gappy have 2 nut sacks, or does he have 4 balls in one?
Are we talking about?
It's 2. It's 2. I think like there was actual proof of that somewhere early on.
Rocky drew it. No.
Well, one like I,
mean,
think
that-
Yasuho would have noticed if it was more if it was 2 than if it was like just
Yes.
a crowded nutsack.
Yeah, she said 2 by 2 balls, so I assume.
See, if Araki
Yeah,
did
it's
what
2
Oda does
pairs.
for One Piece, we would have had this answer by now in like before
But
like a chapter.
Just
or
draw
whatever.
his balls
Hold on.
already. I want to see him.
So it'd be like
Someone on
so what's-
Twitter. Someone in the comments.
Is
Does
he
he
allowed
have
to
4
do that if it's Ultra Jump? I think he
Ooh,
is.
maybe.
Who
He
cares?
did
think
show
he is.
boobies.
They showed
saw
fucking
boobies.
Goku's balls in Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
baby.
but yeah, baby balls.
Yeah.
Are...
Who cares? They showed
Why did I say
Polnareff's
that?
balls.
Oh, we do see Polnareff's balls. That's very true.
Oh, yeah,
Goku's
we do.
balls
Oh my
were 2
God.
lines.
Welcome
He has
to
cannon balls.
welcome to Ballcast, where we talk about all the balls in anime. God. This is what we're
yeah.
doing after JoJo Part 8 ends. If there's no Part 9, we're just gonna talk about balls.
Do you guys remember that when the second that Josuke sees Yasuho, he knows her cup size for some reason? Remember that?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, like that he has
that's
like
not
really
one
a-
of the.
See,
He has
like,
good
super
like
astute- Yeah.
he's
He
able to measure
like a
things
savant.
really
I
well.
feel like
It's
that's an aspect he got from Kira, where Kira probably would have known that. Like,
Yeah.
Alright,
Oh, I never even thought
he
about
actually. All right, so what? How this is explained is part 4 Kira was able to measure things at a distance, just at a glance. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
ties into Josuke being able to do that in part 8, and like it tying him back to Kira, but it also ties him to Holly because she's able to do that with Yasuho as well.
Whoa.
Like
you
the-
actually just blew my mind because I always just thought that was like a throwaway, weird, gappy, funny quirk moment. But no,
No,
that
it's
makes
character
sense.
building.
Oh, we love it. We love to see it.
We love it.
God,
That's actually one of the really cool details that Jojolion does have.
Guys,
The
can we
early
just-
parts of Jojolion had so many interesting details. Like it
Can we
feels.
just go Jojolion positivity mode?
Yes.
Jojolion's really good.
Rapid Jojolion love.
Jojolion's
Yeah, we
pretty
hate it.
good.
We have hated on Jojolion for like an hour and a half. Can we like, let's be nice, okay?
The next hour
Jojolion
and a
has
half will
the
be
best
nice.
art of any JoJo part. That's my opinion.
Absolutely, I agree.
I agree. It's pretty good.
I love the silly little poses. What was like the title card for one of the most recent chapters? It's like Josuke running and he looks like a fucking tool. Which one was
Forgot
that?
one.
He's like it's like
one?
super I love it. Unironically.
Oh, that might have been one of the Endless Calamity ones.
Yeah, it probably was. Take your pick of whichever one it was, but he's running his arms like at a 90-degree angle, and it's like his legs just way out there.
So one of my friends recently, he tried to get a funny controversial tweet. I won't acknowledge who he is so he doesn't get the clout. But he tried to make a tweet that was, Araki is the Rob Liefeld
oh
of
fuck you,
Japan.
no,
fuck you.
Because
that's wrong.
I know, I
That's
was so
incorrect.
fuck
mad.
you.
Because like the idea is like, oh well, the proportions are always wrong, but it's like no.
Rob Leaf is also
proportions
a
aren't
huge,
even
just like your
wrong.
friend. Rob Leaf was a huge tool, so you're good.
The only mean thing that I'll say about JoJo art is that I've said this before. Sometimes it looks like chewed gum, but like other than that,
That's such a
I don't
specific-
get that. I'm not
no.
sure what
Like,
you mean by that.
have you ever looked at a JoJo character's ears and it just looks like it was like a piece of gum that someone put on the side of their ear or the
That
side
is
of
such
their
an
head?
interesting. I've never
I
thought
don't.
of that.
All right, sure. if
it's
you
probably
say
because
so.
of art. It's
I
just
don't
the
see it.
artist's point of view.
Or it looks like shitty clay, like a clay figure that's like shitty.
Like,
I
what
mean-
Araki does for every chapter, he sculpts the whole chapter in clay,
What
and
I'm
then he
s-
takes pictures of it.
What
My
I'm saying
only
is
issue
it looks
with
lumpy.
Jojolion's art is it feels like he's gotten less expressive over time with his characters.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mm.
But
I
it
think
early
sort of
Jojolion
gives
really
them more
suffered
of
from
a. It gives them more of a Greek statue kind of appearance, though. So
Mm.
Yeah.
Richard
It's not a
Jojolion,
full
I love.
complaint.
I both love and hate how like vile civilians look in it. Like they're like the biggest monsters, the biggest creatures like
Yeah.
in existence.
It really shows how Araki
Every
sees
single
people.
one. When you have to go like take a walk into the city, he just sees these like disgusting people. Oh my god.
Is
Wait,
this
hey,
the
we're
most
for part 8?
scattershot BROKAKAKA you guys have had so far?
Maybe.
This is, I would use the word unhinged, maybe.
I love these ones.
No, this one has been so much fun to talk about, but I really am struggling to like
See,
grasp onto anything.
because like
Yeah.
I've been really wanting like another JoJo game just to see what Part 8 representation gets. Like,
Me too.
Part
like,
8 has
it's
the
so funny.
potential for such great representation, but it's not going to get great representation because it's not adapted into the anime yet.
it's funny
Mhm.
that like when Eyes of Heaven came out, they thought Joshi was gonna be the main Jobro, and they gave him like a team up
Oh,
attack with
man.
Gabby.
Although,
God.
no, I think that was fair to do that at that point in time because
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yasuho didn't have an elaborated like ability yet, and
Mhm.
like who else were you? Gonna
Mamazuka
use?
didn't really had like anything going yet.
Mamazuka didn't exist at that point.
Yeah, he didn't arrive in the bus yet.
Yeah, I just love seeing like characters from unadapted parts like moving around and talking. It's cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's
It's
so cool.
amazing. I love that about Eyes of Heaven.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Also, like All-Star Battle and Eyes of Heaven to seeing like the Part 7 and 8 characters and motions is crazy. Also
Yeah.
seeing
All
the
the
very
team-up
limited
attacks.
moveset they have for Gappy of just like removing your friction.
Yeah, I can only imagine like being a fan of Steel Ball Run like since it like came out and like hearing a Dojan for the first time. Like that must have been so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know
if
what's
I
gonna
ever-
fucking really hurt?
What?
What's gonna really hurt? They're gonna announce a new JoJo fighting game. It's gonna be everything we want, and it's only gonna be part 1 through 6.
Ugh.
Is
Oh,
just
no.
Part 3 again.
No, it's gonna be
No.
1 through 6 because those are the
Yeah.
anime adaptations.
They don't want to animate a fucking horse in a fighting game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, like, All-Star
I
Battle's
still
a crazy
can't
ass thing
believe
of
they
having-
managed to implement that into All-Star Battle. Like, that's
they implemented-
one of
Really
the most
funny.
impressive parts.
They implemented fucking Poochie's entire mechanic to get to achieve like heaven. Like
Heaven,
they
yeah.
literally did every single step you had to do.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's
hilarious.
not like well implemented in
No,
a way
it's
that
not at
actually
all.
feels like a good fighting
One of
game
the-
mechanic, but
one
you
of
know,
the few
But it
fighting
is
game
broken if you do
characters-
get it.
One of the few fighting game characters with 2 installs. That's
yeah, that
pretty
never
wacky.
happens.
And also, like, all the Part 7 characters have, like, collecting the corpse parts is really cool and everything.
Yeah, that's really cool. Man,
Yeah.
I think I've talked about this before though. Like the problem with like fighting game scale with JoJo's that you have to have at least 3 characters from each game, and then that's what like
Wonder Review is just a stage hazard.
24
yeah, it's
characters
24
like on the back.
characters.
Yeah.
Like
Wonder
and
Review is
then-
just a save hazard. Half the characters will be Part 3 characters.
Yeah, and like coming back to Jojolion, like I feel like there's a lot of characters who would be part of other characters, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel
Right.
like they could have unfortunately they'd have a pretty good excuse of just making Yasuho part of Josuke's super.
Like I said,
Yeah.
most of Part 8 stands
As much
feel
as
like
I hate
stage
it.
hazards.
Yeah, I would hate that
Yeah.
too.
Or like
And all the 3D fighting games are going to
yeah.
keep making arena fighters.
Yasuo has like
Yep.
such a good like ability for a zoner trap
Hey,
based
guys.
character, and it
We got-
just
Yeah.
would never happen because why is she gonna be that and not just get super?
But at least we got Giorno in Jump Force.
Oh yeah,
And his
we have him in
beautiful-
Jump
and-
Force. Why does it feel
and-
like
Oh my
every time I
God.
come on here we just devolve into JoJo fighting game discussion?
Hey, we can do an episode of just pitching a JoJo fighting game. I've been playing a JoJo Mugen recently. I've been like having it on my mind.
Oh yeah, I've
That's
heard
great.
about that.
I've been playing JoJo. I think it's called Requiem or Bizarre Avenger Requiem.
Mugen is a
But, like,
blessing.
There's no Part 8 characters in that Mugen. I have to scour the internet for models.
God.
But
All right, so back to
What's part-
reality. Whoops,
what's
there
part
goes
8?
gravity. Yeah, part 8. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know.
Who fucking
um,
cares?
Do you love it? Do you hate it? What would you rate it?
You the best. You the best.
Jojolion. Forever.
I would love to keep talking about JoJo forever. It's a really fun little like monthly treat for
Mhm.
me to have the new. It's always a fun little hype cycle of like,
Yeah.
oh, the new chapter's coming out. So
Yeah,
part of me does really want a part 9, but I'm not gonna like I don't feel like entitled to a part 9. Like I feel like a lot of people
no
kinda
one's
do.
entitled to
Absolutely.
Like
After
if
seeing,
once
like-
Jojolion is done, Araki doesn't owe anyone anything. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see him just do more side stories, honestly.
yeah.
Thus spoke
I'm with
Jo-
you.
He doesn't
thus
owe
spoke
anyone anything,
Joshu.
but I think he's still gonna make it.
Yeah, I
It
think
seems
he's gonna
like
make
he
it,
wants
but
to, from what he
Yeah.
said.
after seeing like all the help of like a lot of other mangaka and like animators, like I just rest after you do something, man, and I'm not gonna complain. You gave us so much already.
I think he wants like JoJo is his life's work. He's not gonna
Mhm.
Yeah.
stop at Jojolion, I don't think.
Yeah,
It does make sense. It does feel like a natural stopping point since it is like Jojolion. Like it feels
The
like
name feels like a natural stopping point. I don't think the part itself does though.
I agree with that.
but I'm like for part 9, like, where do you go? Like how
Space.
far in the future do you go?
Space.
I think he's said already that he's not going to do sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he could change his mind.
See,
clearly
he
did
would
with
be
Jojolion
very
in
the
the
next
last
JoJo, he joins the Fast and Furious crew and goes to space in part 9, Fast 9. That's the end credit scene.
There's been a lot of like speculation about who the protagonist of Part 9 would be, and like naturally Imperio makes a lot of sense.
Stop.
Oh my
as-
god!
Stop.
Remember when everybody
Tsurugi-
thought Imperio was there in the Blue Hawaii arc?
No. Stop
I
it.
can't even like I can't even tell you how much I like love and adore the idea of us getting Giorno and Jolene twins.
Oh, I love that. I think we talked about that last
Yeah,
time.
we did.
Yeah, I talk about it constantly. Like
But I'm
It is like such a fun fucking idea. I
But,
really
like-
would love to see that.
so we have to go into like what year for it, like them to have kids?
2021. That's fine. No, wait, no, they're
No.
no,
I
that
mean,
doesn't work if
I
it's
think
them.
he has done stories that take place in the near future. Like
Yes.
I could see him doing something that takes place in 2030. That wouldn't even really be that futuristic.
Yeah,
I want
I-
to see what Araki
it
takes
doesn't
the
like
future.
Araki's just gonna do it based on whatever he wants to write and what he
Yeah.
wants the character's lineage to be.
We
That's
have-
gonna
we
define
have- we
what
have the
year
smart-
it is.
the super high tech like modern day smartphones of 2011.
Yeah, he could also make it like the descendant of some like
Araki does
like a
not
part 4
care.
situation.
Araki does not give a shit about accurately representing the technology of the time
Yeah.
period because he had
Yeah.
like wireless earbuds on Toru that were not wireless originally. He just changed it to be something that doesn't fit 2011.
Hmm.
God.
Yeah,
That's
I
so-
don't know.
It's yeah, it kind of gets me really excited. Like I love Mario. I love the setting of part 8, but I'm really excited at the idea of going somewhere else. Like I know there's a lot of like
I
the
do,
idea of like Italy, returning to Italy again.
I
Like,
do miss the names, like the wacky names, or like the American names.
I forget
Yeah.
who said it, but someone said like, damn, people talking about part 9 right now is like breaking up with your ex and then immediately dating someone else like the next day.
Good God.
I love that.
I like this, but I love this.
Yeah. Ugh, I don't know.
It's funny. I don't normally like talk about or like to even like insinuate the idea, but I just thought it would be kind of interesting because we're kind of winding down.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good like parting thing. If we're talking about the future of Jojolion, it's a good, especially if it's seems like it's coming to a close. It's probably a good idea to talk about the future of JoJo.
I'm
It
waiting
feels
for like,
like-
the next chapter is gonna be like like all the shadows of the next set of villains. It's gonna be like we ain't done yet.
Do we think Josuke is gonna return for part 9 if there's a part 9?
Probably at least to the capacity that Johnny did, and that he had a cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God.
I feel like we'll get at least that much, but I feel like he might be a Jotaro sort of character for part
I would
9.
love that.
Yeah,
that would be
same.
so cool.
And then his
That would be
face
very
cracks
cool.
in where his gap is.
Alternatively,
okay.
we could have one of the Higashikatas return and be like a member of the part 9 gang.
What? I can't wait for
That'd be
I can't
sick.
wait
Like
for the end of
Tsurugi
Jojolion
or
will be.
Joshu or
what if Tsurugi-
Mitsuba's unborn child.
Oh, I keep forgetting Mitsuba as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, what if we get
that's
the
now
line to say Tsurugi
fatherless.
died of a cold 3 weeks later?
No, that's why Jobin can't die. He has to
Tsurugi
raise his
got
beautiful son by
coronavirus 3 months later and died.
No.
I wonder
This
if
time it would've
Araki's
been bird
gonna take any influence from the coronavirus for part 9. Because it feels like that's what everyone is doing with
Oh,
their
shit.
media. but like it does kind of like line up in the kind of way where it impacted him. Maybe in like the same way as other stuff that influenced previous parts did, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because Joshu was anti-vax.
Oh, guys,
He would
I
be.
have
He
I
would
have the
be.
perfect ending
Not because he
discussion.
actually believes it, but just because he wants to stir shit.
He wants to own the libs online.
I have the perfect ending discussion.
Yeah.
The fuck does Josuke's hair look like?
Yeah, don't ask me.
That's very clearly a reveal that he's hyping. Like, he's clearly hinted at it. Like,
Yeah, I thought that Kado's shit was a reveal too. I don't care about that at this point. It's
Liberty
I don't
spikes.
think it's happening anymore.
no, but guys, it's the most important part of the story. Okay, what does his hair look like? Is it like Elvis?
It's Liberty
Is it like
Spikes.
Elvis?
He's a punk rocker. He's gonna be Liberty Spikes. It's a twist.
I like the idea of it
Elvis.
being like receding
Not
hairline.
happening.
He's got like an early receding hairline.
Stop it.
Dreadlocks.
I don't like that either.
He's gonna have cornrows like Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg.
cornrows.
That would be
Good
so
God.
funny.
That would be so bad.
Or he just like changes it in honor of Mamazuku and just gets a flat top.
Oh God.
Even though he's never seen Mamazuku with his hat off.
At this point, everything other than curly hair is just sacrilege to me.
Oh, I'd like a curly haired Gappy.
I
That'd be
like
fun.
curly. I like curly hair.
Get a Jufro. Jufro Gappy.
The
I mean,
one
at this
thing...
point, it has to be a callback. Like, there's no reason he'd hide it if it was just something.
It'll be no.
I
You
don't
take the
think
hat
it's
off.
a callback, but I don't think we're gonna see him without his hat on. At
He
this
takes the hat
point,
off,
like,
and it's
I don't
just
see
Jotaro's
what it
hat,
could
where
be.
you don't know if it's like.
Yeah, it's either a reveal or it's like a Jotaro thing where it's like, oh, you never see it. Except you did
You
see
do
Jotaro, but
Jotaros.
you do, but you know, it's one of those where it's like, ah ha ha. What's under? It's like
It's
the
not-
guy from
for-
Naruto.
For Jotaro, it's less what's under his hat and more how the hell does his hat look like that while it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if he takes the hat off and it's just like exposed brain? Like he just has like a big like,
Ew.
skull chunk missing.
We just see that it's all rock.
Oh,
It's just like
I
it
mean-
is literally Josephine and Kira's hair split down the middle, so it's just like
That's
half
it.
pompadour.
just a
And then
black
Yasuo's like,
pompadour.
oh, wait, you didn't realize you were a fusion when you have that?
Oh my god. I mean,
I've never taken it off before.
no one's probably like Gappy had to learn a lot of things when he got the so he like probably doesn't know how to like maintain his hair.
No, who cares? Pompadours are just like that. You don't have to maintain it or anything.
Maybe he'll get angry if someone mocks his hairstyle.
Oh,
I wonder
that's
if we're
the
gonna get-
conclusion.
I wonder if we're gonna get an answer to what Toru's last name is. I feel like we have to because marketing,
B.
first of all, like
It's
it
Toru
doesn't
B.
having a main villain without a last name is weird. When every other
It feels
main villain
really
has a
weird to
last
talk
name.
about him, especially
Yeah.
because
Like-
Toru is such a common name.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're talking about Dragon Maid?
Ah.
I feel like I still feel confident in either Fujiyama or Yamagishi.
I think it's just
Why
B.
are those established JoJo names? I'm bad with names.
Fujiyama, I thought because Mount Fuji is the tallest mountain in Japan, and also Dainenji-yama and Yagiyama are
Oh.
names with mountains in them.
Huh. Okay.
He could have just
so-
taken the head doctor's last name, honestly.
And then Dolomiti is also a mountain range in Italy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah.
So like,
He could-
Fujiyama is a regular, like, common Japanese name that means Mount Fuji,
Mhm.
and that could potentially be it. Or it could be Yamagishi, which is Yukako's surname.
Hmm.
Mm.
We already have a Yukako reference that we
Yeah,
probably
but
would
like
never see again.
Toru really fits Yukako as a alternate universe interpretation. Like he's very similar to Yukako in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Sure.
God.
Fuck it, right?
Oh yeah,
I
Carrera.
do, like those feel
Kurt-
like the most likely if we're being thematic about it.
Yamagiri
It's probably
does
gonna be
Carrera
some
sound
dumb
come in
shit.
and say,
Actually,
can't take
no,
that.
I see it. I see it.
It's probably
Kinda.
gonna be some dumb shit like, oh, it's Brando.
Oh my
You
god.
Toru
Furious.
Brando.
Oh my
Fuck
god.
you.
My middle name is Dario.
Because Dio can never leave JoJo.
Yeah.
My name's actually Caesar Zeppeli. It's one of those.
I'm actually Polinar's my actual like last name.
I wonder if
man.
Rocky even knows that he hasn't said Toru's last name.
No,
Maybe
he does.
didn't
He
even
mentioned
remember
it.
to.
He mentioned it in one of the profile pages in between the chapters.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay. So there's like intrigue then.
Yeah.
Wait, he
like
mentioned...
I wouldn't say it otherwise. When he's detailing Toru as a character, it's one of the status pages, like where they show the stands and stuff.
His bio page, essentially.
The
he
bio
said
page, yeah.
He notes that he has not mentioned his
He
last
mentions
name
the last name. Let me look and see. I'll post it.
This is This is new drama.
Yeah,
Breaking
I
news.
wouldn't
Like,
like keep
done the
mentioning it
research.
otherwise because it's very clearly something.
Yeah. It's
Like,
gotta
go-
be something.
They'll go to a character, it's like, his last name was, and then they'll die by an enemy stand attack, and we'll never find out.
Yeah, when the fuck
The
would it
issue
even
is-
be revealed?
Whatever his last name is just something that Toru specifically picked. So
Probably Presley, because he's a...
yeah, Toru Presley. Okay.
God, that's so bad.
I don't think Toru cares, though, how bad
He's
his
not
last
just
name
an Elvis fan. He's an Elvis stan.
Dude, he was
Duh,
saving money to go
whatever.
to Graceland. That's why he wanted the money.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Going to Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. These are the days of miracle and wonder.
Walking there, listening to, like, the Wonder Review.
I cannot fucking believe in hindsight that, like, these are the days of miracle and wonder. This is a long distance call was not an intentional reference. That is
Yeah.
so, like, that's such a strange coincidence. The miracle of your love, the wonder of you.
Coincidence?
This is a long distance call. That's such a strange, like, thing to be a coincidence. And it's in an album called Graceland. Jesus.
I can't... I've only got to see Toru's Graceland Adventures.
I'll leave that up to the fan artists.
I'm
It'd
still
just be like
mourning
it'd be like
Coronation Theory. I'm still
it'd be
doing
like the
it.
Birdie Quest
feel you.
Jim. It'd be like the Birdie Quest video of like the Toru doing the dancing, just like on his way to Graceland,
It's going underwater.
but to the tune of Wonder Review.
Why is Wonder of You called Wonder of You with the actual letter? Like that, I originally thought it was just like a Prince thing to mirror
Yeah,
Josuke,
Oh,
but now
yeah.
that that's not happening, that feels weird in hindsight.
He's like, 'cause it sounds threatening, man. Like it's probably when he talked to all like on the break like of the hospital, like all the Rocky doctors like to come together and just talk about this shit.
Well, I mean, like, I think that Araki's, like, gradually just been getting weirder with his, like, he's been kind of mangling the references lately, like,
Yeah,
it's been a gradual process, but, like, I don't know, I just think
We went
it's a stylistic
everywhere
choice.
with like the end of Part 8. We had like Snoop Dogg, we have Lady Gaga, we got like
Yeah, well, like,
Part
there's
eight
a
has
lot of
some really good
explanations for why
references.
it's the letter U and not the word U. I think probably the most realistic answer is he thought it looked cool on the page.
I'm
well,
assuming
no, it's very like it's very clearly a Prince thing. Like that's a Prince thing, and
yeah,
he's
it
a
could
very
be.
big Prince fan.
It's
so-
always
I
a
think it
Prince.
is, but-
Also, what's it called? I forget the stand's name, but in part 3, Hail to You. Oh, maybe connection.
No.
okay.
I don't-
yeah, all right, whatever you say.
That's
Because I think that he
here it
also
is, I
wrote that
found it.
out like letter U, but that could also just be the.
Okay,
Prince connection
I
still.
found the thing where it talks about Toru's name. The name Toru is of course a name he created for use in human society, and even Hirose Yasuho has not searched for his sure name up to this point.
What did
They
she like?
dated.
I know they had class together. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you imagine not knowing your boyfriend's last name? You should probably tell the people you're dating what your last name is. It's probably a good. Just to anyone in the audience.
I can't wait to meet
who's
your
in a
parents,
long-term
Toru.
relationship.
Yeah,
thinking of, like, the
Mr. and
hive.
Mrs. What?
Thinking about taking her to meet his parents, and it's just like the beehive.
You can just call them mom and dad.
it's the crushed beehive.
I still visit them from time to time. But like, unless he uses like Akufu as like his father or his grandfather. Like I live with my grandfather. He did a whole elaborate like scheme to like get around to like actually like, visiting his parents.
Toru.
That'd be a
walks
great
in-
side novel, side
Do
chapter.
you think Toru ever had to go to PTA meetings for himself?
I mean, he That's easy for him. It's
What
not
a
like he has
guy.
to like be next close to his stand.
He walks into a giant beehive.
But then the teacher goes, "Oh, I need one more thing," and reaches for it for him, and then gets like calamity. Man, this would be that'd be a fun
a
ass
giant
chapter to like.
beehive. And this joke is taking forever, but it'll be worth it, okay?
Be worth the
I
wait.
think
He
one
walks
thing
in-
that Jojolion shows us over.
Yeah, go for it. No, go for it.
I think one thing that Jojolion shows us above all is that the Twilight series is actually horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Elaborate?
Where?
No.
Yeah, please.
I
No
mean,
need,
rock
we're
humans
good.
are basically vampires in that series.
Okay. Who's werewolves?
The Pillarmen.
And who's the weird CGI baby in the
Okay.
end of the Twilight?
Listen, I didn't
Oh
think
my
this
God.
analogy that through.
Is it poor
I can
Tom?
tell. Yes, Sam, you picked. Yeah, exactly. The creepy CGI babies. Poor Tom. There we go.
Yeah, it's poor Tom. All right,
God.
cool.
That is. I haven't
That
seen
works.
all of the Twilight movies, but I do absolutely love how fucking creepy that baby is. Like, it's just all CGI. It's so
I-
fucking funny.
I had a-
I read
I haven't
those books when I was like 11. I should not
Really?
have. Yeah.
I grew up with a sister who was heavily into that Team Edward, Team Jacob thing. She was Team Jacob.
Ooh. Sorry to
Ooh,
hear
rough.
that. Ooh.
Hey, man. Whatever.
Tell me you guys have a
CGI
stake in
baby.
this.
You can go at my
Don't.
sister then. I don't care. On Twitter.
Speaking of CGI baby, CGI horses.
My Little
Speaking
Pony.
of speaking of CGI horses in like Steel Ball Run hypothetically.
Oh no.
No,
Jojolion.
I was like, wait, didn't the guy in Dave Production say he doesn't really want to do the CGI horses? Like,
Ooh.
Hey, I'm sure he can have a lot of things.
They're
he
gonna
wants to
happen
say.
one way or another. They're not gonna be used every time, but they're going to happen
hey,
one way or another.
take the Records of Ragnarok route and
Yeah.
just do it in a slideshow.
Just don't
Yeah.
animate. Just don't,
Don't
animate.
animate it.
Go for
Use a
that.
slideshow.
Honestly,
Just give Steel Ball Run to Mappa so they can make the first episode look really good.
And their animators will all die at the end.
And then we can repost the Mappa image, but with it crossed out and saying JoJo.
They just have like part 7 confirmed and have like the animator from the Chainsaw Man with the bags under his eyes, just like looking really depressed.
Oh God, that poor guy.
He's-
hey, as long as it's a Jujutsu Kaisen adaptation and not an Attack on Titan adaptation, I think.
Attack on Titan
I
had
wouldn't
pretty good
scoff at
CG.
it. I thought it looked really awkward. I mean, it looked fine.
I thought it
but
looked good. Like
I miss it. I miss the hand animated Titans.
Guys,
Oh,
remember
guys.
part 8? Where...
I have a good question for. Do you guys still do that? The question for the audience.
Oh yes.
I
Well, he
have a
made it
good
this far.
question. I have a good question for the audience, guys.
They made it 2 hours in.
Guys, can I ask it? Is this like a good
Yeah,
time?
do
The
it.
floor is yours.
what is this?
Good question. I have a question for the audience. If they animate Jojolion, what part are they going to CGI?
The balls.
Beatles,
Dubiwa.
That's my. I think they're going to CGI the Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles.
Mm.
The Beatles.
The
will
Beatles,
totally
it might
CGI.
be. I think Dubiwa as a stand is gonna get CGI. Because
Dr.
it's
Who.
constant
That's a fair
movement.
one.
It's constant
Yeah.
movement at all times.
It's like gradients and stuff. Yeah, you're gonna have to at least have some particle effects.
Yeah, and also,
Johnny flashback to CGI that horse and then a rock falling on his head is gonna be a giant CG block of a giant CG rock on his head.
I feel like the invisible bubbles might be CGI just to make them look otherworldly.
Yeah, I think that they'll
Yeah.
CGI the bubbles.
I mean,
Because they could just make like one bubble model and just resize it.
Yeah, that's true.
maybe maybe they'll master the CGI car because they didn't in part 5. So hopefully by then
They
they
will
can
never
CGI.
master the CGI car.
Because there's gonna be more CGI cars in part 6 most likely.
That's the one thing though. Like going with how David Pro has been adapting it. Like they generally don't use CG for the stands. Like that's one thing they always seem
Aerosmith.
to.
They do, occasionally.
What'd you say?
Yeah, but
Will
that
Smith?
was like the one example that I thought was done pretty well. Like the
Yeah,
way
Aerosmith
that
was pretty good.
Aerosmith looked.
Oh, Arrows. I thought you said Will
That's
Smith.
right, Aerosmith.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
CG Will Smith.
My
Will Smith
stand,
and
Will
Aerosmith.
Smith.
If I type in Will Smith Stan on Google,
It's gonna be the genie.
you
yeah.
are 100% right.
Yeah.
I mean, they also
Yeah.
CGI'd Harvest. during
First
the
in
big
co-
shots.
Oh yeah.
I think Will Smith stand and Will Smith standing in an empty room is like the first thing that comes up.
It's probably the way they probably look at it. It's like for the use of this model, would it make sense to CG it? Like Harvest is a stand that there's like a lot of, so rather than draw it every time, just make one model and then you can just play with it and resize it as needed.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
Bad
Harvest
Company
was
was
CG.
CG.
That was a good use of it. Yeah,
Bad
Yeah.
Company was CG.
especially since
Was it?
Yeah, Bad Company was CG for like the first
don't remember.
the close up like the helicopters were like or CG.
not
Oh.
Bad Company wasn't all CG though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't all, but like when you get close up.
Although I guess Harvest wasn't either. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like,
Harvest, it was really good because number one, you don't have just Harvest whenever Harvest is on the screen. You also have Shigeki, and he
Yeah.
was manually animated.
That's-
Manually, you know what I mean?
Ooh.
2D.
Manually.
I have
Humans.
I have a separate prediction that vitamin C, the little handprints are gonna have like a really shitty like gradient over it,
Ooh.
like a warbling, like
They're
little
gonna have
effect
stink
texture.
lines coming from them.
God.
They're gonna be
The
like real
melting is-
stinky like green stink lines.
Oh, that sucks too, because the images of the handprints are like legitimately
Yeah.
creepy.
They
Yeah.
are, but it's
Extremely
probably
well
gonna
done.
have like a Adobe Photoshop cloud generated thing over it.
The thing about JoJo is I feel like everything before Steel Ball Run benefited from visually from the adaptation. I can't see how
Yeah.
they're going to adapt Steel Ball Run and Jojolion in a way that looks like visually
They'll at least
On
make the
par
art
with
styles
it.
more consistent.
like no matter how
Yeah,
they
that's
end
gonna
up
be
going about it.
interesting to see how because it's really funny when you start Steel Ball Run because it doesn't look like how I remember Steel Ball Run looking because it's
Yeah.
like it's so long.
It
that
looks
his,
like
his
part
style
6.
evolves so much.
Everybody always shows that picture
Yeah.
of Johnny in the wheelchair, the tiny Johnny.
Yeah.
That
I want
is
to see those
such
early
an
funny
amazing way-
Valentine scenes where he doesn't look like chewed gum.
Steel Ball Run, like, introducing its protagonist in, like, a tiny panel while, like, the Deuteragonist is, like, given this big, massive introduction. That's one of the ballsiest things ever, and I love it.
So funny. I
Even
love
just the
it.
first chapter, not even like having the whole thing with Sandman or Soundman rather, because
Yeah, they weren't even introduced until chapter 2. That's great.
I love it. I love Soundman.
It's very funny.
God. JoJo's a wild ride.
Soundman was definitely the Jojolion of Steel Ball Run.
How the fuck are they gonna voice that in English?
You gotta write that on your tombstone.
Oh yeah,
I
isn't
am
his whole
not
name, like, a pun,
Sandman, I am
basically?
Soundsman.
Oh God.
Really funny. It's gonna be hilarious.
What? How did?
Um,
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I asked for some comments. Maybe I can.
Anything good? Anything good,
Run
we can
through
skip it.
these.
If nothing good, we can just skip it. And just...
There's so many. I'll just skim through them really quick.
While you're looking, I can tell my Toru joke that I was trying to make and I kept getting interrupted.
Go ahead. The
Okay,
microphones are
what
all
is it?
yours.
Let's go.
The spotlight's on.
Please, somebody interrupt me while I'm doing this because it's really bad.
We won't.
Toru walks in to a giant beehive, and he says,
I thought that
"Honey,
was a joke.
says, honey, I'm home." That's it. That's the whole joke.
Isn't that joke from the Bee movie?
Oh my God.
Is it? I don't know.
Wow.
I've only
I
seen
think
that movie
it is.
once. I don't know.
I
Fuck,
thought the
it's
joke. I thought you said
No, I-
Toru walked
No,
through a
I can't
beehive,
stop
and then
thinking of that illustration. I think Shazo made it of Toru as the protagonist of Bee movie.
Benny.
Hold on, let me
Benson or
see if I can
something.
find that.
That's beautiful. I haven't seen that.
There's like 2 bee jokes you can make.
Later, that very same bee.
That's great.
God, we
It's funny. A lot of the things people are mentioning that are crazy are like things we talked about. At Tall Nerdy Girl said, "Last minute fusion BS." Yes, we did have a discussion about last minute fusion BS.
God.
Yeah.
It's no good predictions. That we can just skip it because we can't trust anybody making a good prediction.
It's true. Iwasuke. I mean,
Iwasuke's Iwasuke. We
He'll
don't need
live.
to elaborate
Puppy.
further.
I love
Puppy.
him. I
Will
want
he
more
live
of
or
him.
will he die? He will get hit by, and then be like, oh, then he got hit by a car 2
Wasp
Well,
is
one
months later.
immortal.
The one frame of him looking like incredibly concerned is like literally my favorite JoJo panel ever.
Yeah.
When was that from?
He's just like,
Oh, yeah, I remember now. No.
where he's like, it looks like he's about to cry. I think it's one of the last times we
There's
saw him.
literally
actually.
only 4 panel shots of him that people just post like, and that's like
He's-
one of them.
He's a perfect, beautiful boy that I love very much. All right, well then, if we don't have anything else to say, maybe we should end this.
That's not a bad idea. It's been going on for over 2
We are
hours.
all probably
I don't know.
sweating
Maybe we should
very
keep
much.
talking about bullshit.
I don't know because my throat hurts.
You talking about balls more?
Well, I had a really good time. I'm really interested to see how furious people are going to be clicking whatever clickbait video I make. Video
You're not-
title, and
you're
they're
not gonna do what you do
wow,
for
this
Jin-
was nothing.
Do you ever
Is
just get to be like,
Jojolion the worst JoJo part?
is Gappy's balls?
Does Jojolion bad actually?
Watch as Jim and Sam team up
Is
with
a
2
Rocky
washed-up
a
YouTube
fraud?
stars as they practice their stand-up routines.
All right, next time we're just only going to do Toru jokes.
See, 4
Funny.
See, 4 people lose their mind 2 hours into the heat that's getting to their brains.
Yeah, I'm fucking
Toru.
sweltering here.
Toru walks into a giant pea.
No, we can't do this again.
Yajaho gets another terrible ex-boyfriend.
It's funnier
That's the
the
joke.
third time.
What we learned is that Joshu is an anti-vaxxer, among many other things.
All right, I actually don't even know how to end this, so I think we're just going to say goodbye.
Oh, plugs?
Oh, plugs. Yeah, we should plug things.
Yeah, we have to guest plug first.
Holly, you can start. Would you like to plug anything?
Yeah, you can find me if you go on YouTube and you search atop the 4th wall.
Oh shit! I found it. I found it. I found the
What?
image.
Okay.
Shut up.
Oh my god, that's terrorist B. I guess I'll have to include this in
That's
the
a
show
thumbnail.
notes. Check
Yeah,
out.
It's someone's art. I wouldn't do that, but yeah.
I wouldn't do a thumbnail. I'll include it in the show notes or whatever.
No,
for
don't
the-
worry.
or
I'll draw.
on
I'll draw a
screen.
picture of Toru walking into a chair.
All right, you said it. You have to do it now. Verbal contract.
Oh my
So
god.
stupid.
How's plugs going this up?
Aeonstar plug. You
This
can
was the
find
most
me.
stable.
You can find me at youtube.com/Purmello. That's Purmello. Please watch my newest video because no one did.
Watch your fighting video. It's very good.
It's
It's
very
really
good.
good.
I really resonated with it.
Thank you.
I'm not a joke. I really did.
Aeonstar, what's your plug?
My name is Aeonstar. I make the YouTube channel Aeonstar. I am Aeonstar. Watch Aeonstar videos.
We'll go watch this Coronation Theory video.
Yeah,
It's my
do
fa-
that.
It's my favorite comedy
What
video
could
on
have been?
YouTube.
What could have been? Jesus.
It's my favorite alternate history video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depression.
All right, Sam. Would
You
you
can
like
follow
to do
us
plug?
on Channel Awesome, and you can watch our recent review of Mulan,
Go subscribe
And the
to
wall.
our Blip.tv page.
Justin.tv. No, you can. Thank you all for lasting 2 hours and 15 minutes, I think.
And I'll see you
Jesus.
guys on the next Angry Joe show.
My brain hurts.
Oh God. But yes, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, so more people can hear this fucking podcast.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe and follow our wonderful guests who have not caused me psychic damage today.
Oh, thank you.
I failed.
Yeah.
Seriously though, really appreciate you guys spending your time. I didn't expect this to go so long. So thank
That's
you for
no
sticking
problem.
around.
Also, before we end this thing, did we ever clap sync this?
Uh,
I don't think we did.
That's how we're gonna end this.
Yeah,
We're gonna end it
clap
on the
sync.
clap.
Let's go.
All right, I'm gonna count down 3, 2, 1, clap, and we're gonna do it. Okay.
Okay.
all right.
3, 2, 1.